tweets out saying we're live.
All right, I'm gonna retweet them.
Let me go open a Dr. Pepper.
But it's crazy how
We'll
Jack Posobiec knew that lore on Jim Cornette because of the Mick Foley thing. But
so he retired right because of Trump, essentially.
Well, he didn't sign a legacy deal because of Trump. Which, I mean, let's be real here. He's gonna he'll go back. Like, this is not. These people are hypocrites.
He'll just make a nice comeback in 2029.
Yeah,
that's what you're telling me.
Well, like, he can't wrestle anymore. Of course, like his knees are held together by glue. But no, Mick Foley, I think like he always used to come back for like appearances here and there. But he always was like a lib. Like it's very funny how like people were saying. He'll say this about Trump because I don't know if we should talk about the Rob Reiner thing, but like he worked for Vince McMahon for multiple decades when Vince McMahon was tearing his way through but anyways, let's not get into it. It's just, I think it's kind of funny though. I mean, and so like then Jim Cornette, who those who don't know is like a big wrestling podcaster, but he started off as he was a booker and a promoter, and he worked in the Attitude Era. Although I would say that Vince Russo had more of a creative say in what happened during the Attitude Era before he went to WCW. But there's this eternal war between Vince Russo and Jim Cornette because Jim Cornette is like this like pure hicklib, like the most like the top of the mountain boomer hicklib. But Vince Russo is this New York City like Italian Trump guy. He always says bro, like, hey bro, you could work for me, bro. Like I love Vince Russo. I know like people don't like Vince Russo because like he did a lot of stupid like trash TV type of stuff like the bra and panties matches or like this valet has a miscarriage in the ring, blah blah blah. Who's sleeping with who? But like no, I mean I think Vince Russo, he truly gets too much crap thrown at him because of Jim Cornette. Because Jim Cornette is a paradoxical, like all hicklibs, is paradoxical in that he's a trad when it comes to wrestling, but only wrestling. Everything else, he's a lib. But when it comes to professional wrestling, he's like, gotta go return to tradition, gotta have like pure booking, pure wrestling. But like when it comes to everything else, he's a libtard. So like all hicklibs, it's like I'm, that tweet, Prude, and Onizuka, that the right wing Twitterisms. One of them is like I'm an ethno-nationalist for the people I care about.
Oh,
well,
yes.
with the hicklibs, it's I'm a trad, I'm a return to tradition, but for the slop that I care about. It's like that's it. Anyways,
it's like Rod Dreher and oysters.
Yeah. Anyways, sorry to.
It's a great opening. Welcome, everybody, to the Digital Archipelago episode 146. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Plato's Goon Cave, for reposting the stream on X.com. Plato's Goon Cave is one of our strongest soldiers outside of him moonlighting for Night Owl, so we're very happy to have him doing that.
He street switches every Tuesday.
We love it.
Still hasn't followed me back on this account.
That is the perennial Twitter purgatory of respawning and trying desperately to be like, remember me, as you scream into the void, hoping someone recognizes your posting style.
It's like Spandrel will never follow me back.
It happens quite often.
Roger will never follow me back. Mika Groiper will never follow me back.
Well, anyway. Mika Groiper is a little busy running a project, so...
Okay, true.
I just realized I give Mika Groiper my money, so what can I do? What can I say?
Oh, boy, you're going to end up on a list one day.
Apparently so. It's kind of all over for me.
We're kind of all are in a list, I guess.
We will all assuredly hang together. That's totally fine.
We're on the Gavin Newsom kill list.
It's fine.
It's okay. I added your name to it, Prude.
Thanks. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
It was funny. He said, actually, your name was already on it because you're a heritage American. Like, it's an automatic thing. Like, if you trace your ancestors back to the Mayflower, you're just automatically on the list.
The little bit of Irish did not save Prude. Yeah.
No,
it did not help. I have family that signed the Mayflower Compact. I guess that puts me on the Gavin Newsom kill list.
Yep.
It's over.
You're not even saved if you vote for him. That's the craziest part.
Well, I wasn't going to anyway. I saw that. I know it's going to be a grift campaign or just rumors to get it floating around. But it is. I think Kamala Harris said that she was putting together some people to put feelers out about running again.
Oh yes.
I want her to run again so bad. I hope
it's true.
So I really do think this is my.
She's gonna get crushed in the primaries.
This is my political hatchet man take. Is that I want it to be Operation, like Tanisha Crockett. I want every loud, every arrogant, every boisterous black woman in the Democratic Party to run for major office in the next 4 years. I want it to happen.
It's happening right now with the
Jasmine Crockett. That's why I called it Operation Tanisha Crockett. I want every black woman in America needs to run for office on the Democratic ticket. Every black woman needs to run for office.
I like Summer Lee though. She's all right.
Yeah, no, I sure hope they do. I think the Stacey Abrams of the world were running more, especially in close seats. A black woman should run as the Democrat in every close seat, because Stacey Abrams proved to us that actually this is the easiest way for Republicans to win. It's like an easy layup. It's just convince the Democrats that their best option is a black woman.
Except for when Republicans are owning themselves by running a recently migrated Jamaican woman. That's
like they did it in that was Virginia, right?
Virginia.
Oh my gosh!
But Stacey Abrams saved democracy. No, that was very funny. They had that photo. They had the press. There was a Stacey Abrams-esque moment for a little bit in 2024, or was it 2023? There was there always are this 50 minutes of fame moments that these politicians have, and there's only a few AOC that could dominate the public consciousness for more than 15 minutes. But anyways,
do you want to feel old for a second? The guy who I think he did end up going to prison. Oh yeah, he is currently incarcerated in federal. No. Currently incarcerated in federal prison for felony fraud and extortion. Is you remember Michael Avenatti?
Oh my God, that's might as well be ancient history.
Do you remember that fat, disgusting pig from CNN? What's his name? Brian Stelter, saying this guy could run for president one day. Everyone does get their 15 minutes of fame because his 15 minutes of fame was representing Stormy Daniels during the first Trump administration.
He was such a slime ball. That guy was such a sleaze. It was.
But I mean, he's the quintessential American lawyer. I hate to break it to you.
No, but I
know better than anyone that he's the quintessential American lawyer.
I was going to ask you, though, a lot of people claim, Mayflower heritage. Do they have, genealogies, American historians, where they go back? How many families run Mayflower?
Yes. There are numerous societies in America where you can trace your lineage. Research.
The Mayflower people had extensive documentation, and I mean, a lot of people don't realize documentation for genealogies got really, really good in the 1700s. So it's really, really easy to trace your genealogy back to the 1700s if you're
it's called the Mayflower Society, and then there's also Sons of the American Revolution.
Well, I'm sure there's stolen valor cases too, I guess.
Oh, there is.
I'm sure that there is, but I think that it becomes really easy depending on because on my mother's side, it's funny because I'm going to a family reunion / Christmas thing this weekend. They take very extensive pride in where you come from, and so there's a lot of books of just names and lineage and where you came from, which is. I mean, I didn't grow up knowing any of this. So after moving to where I am now, it was just sort of this very strange emotional sack of bricks hitting you in the chest where it's oh, you have roots much deeper than you realize. So it's a really cool thing to discover. Plus I am a member of the counties where I live, the historical society. So I get to learn even more cool stuff that way. I really do recommend that if young people want to meet interesting, this is not a place to meet women, obviously, but this is a place for you This is a place for you to meet some interesting people who give a shit about where you live or the history about where you live. I would really recommend joining like a county historical society because you are going to meet some
You could meet a
reactionary
MAGA
coded
gilf,
people.
though, probably.
Huh?
You could meet a MAGA gilf, you know?
I mean, you could. This really works out because I think 2 out of 3 of the people on this panel like older women, so it's all fine. See, this doesn't help because I know all of Gio's secrets, and then our guest here is someone I know personally.
True.
What? No, but there's more than one boat. Like I know the Mayflower is iconic, but obviously, was there a period of original settler landings in America after the Mayflower? Like, what is constitutive of like, you know, like there must have been a period of like for example when the Anabaptists came over.
Well, the Mayflower is just for Plymouth, right? So
right,
Massachusetts.
Plymouth.
Sons of the American Revolution are if your family were here and like citizens of the colonies before or during the American Revolution.
Right.
I'm in a like weird place where my my ancestors were here during the American Revolution, but do not qualify for the Sons of American Revolution.
Really?
Yes, because they were Hessian mercenaries.
Oh,
So-
wow. Holy crap.
So I qualify for the Sons of the Texas Revolution, though. So there's
They
that.
didn't flee to Canada, or no?
No, they just stayed. They just said, you know what?
That's like my uncle, uncle by marriage, but like his family dates back to the original Loyalists here in Canada. So there was a period where they were fleeing, and but yeah, like that's what I mean. Like there was the one in Plymouth. Well, you know, like
You have the Virginia colony.
The Virginia colony. One was Pennsylvania. Like I know Philadelphia has this very like this awe-inspiring importance to the American project. When was it? Quickly after Pennsylvania was founded?
You could say it was founded with William Penn, obviously.
Right, yeah.
But I mean, that's 1681. That's the charter from King Charles II, mainly with religious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, 1681.
Yeah. Is Sean in Philadelphia?
No, I don't think Sean... Well, I think Sean's from Philly.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know if Sean lives in Philly anymore. If I remember correctly, Sean is an expat with money.
I always wanted to go to, like, they call it the hot dog belt, which is, like, the tri-state area. Like, New Jersey, parts of Pennsylvania, parts of obviously New York City, Connecticut. Because that's where, like, you have a lot of, like, both Germans and Italians and other people, and they have like this really like you go to YouTube, right? There's like tons of like hot dog YouTubers with like carts or shops like Chris Red Hot, and they have like all the toppings. This is what inspired me. Like if I ever were to retire doing
Is this where you were telling me about that one guy?
Yes,
Okay.
He's in Hanover, Pennsylvania. He's in Hanover, that guy. But
Okay.
Chris Red Hot is in New Jersey, Verona, New Jersey. And like the layout, the toppings, the creativity he does, like with all the different specials, with all the toppings. It's such a simple concept, just the water dog, but like the toppings really, I don't know, something about it fascinated me. But anyways, there's a ton. No, there is. There's I'm telling you.
So
there's
I
a
mean,
whole universe.
I think it's important, Pac-Man Respecter, to understand that like if you were to log out of your YouTube account right now and go to the YouTube main page, or even go click incognito mode on YouTube right now,
yeah,
you are going to discover worlds that you never knew existed.
I love when YouTube like introduces me to a whole new world, because like when I first found when like car people reviewing food in their car became a thing, in like 2015, 2016. I actually love that content now. I used to think it was stupid, but like now I think that content's great. Like there's this Asian guy who I follow who like he just does like
Shofo Cho or whatever.
Yeah, Shofo Cho. Yeah, that's I really love his stuff. It's really
Is it
funny.
justified? Hell no!
Hell no! And like, oh my gosh, that like there's just a lot of different content, and people are making like some of this stuff is actually like pretty high production value. Not so much show for show, but like there's a cooking channel I just came across recently who like does low effort versions of other people's recipes. And
That guy, yeah, with the Wojak. Like,
yeah. He's pretty great. Like the content sphere is not completely dead.
Yeah. There's that one guy, Belial. He's like this. I don't know what he is. He's like a Dominican or Puerto Rican or whatever. But like he goes to 1-star restaurants in YouTube Shorts. Like he'll go to a city. Everyone except Purdue's slop.
Oh no! There's a lot of slop tent that I am a connoisseur of. I will just never tell you about it.
What's this thing? Expedition whatever 33. Like people were getting mad about this video game. I was trying to ask
someone who has not played Expedition 33. I don't know. I know that it won a bunch of awards at the Game Awards. I think happened on the 11th.
I think it's because, if I'm correct, it's a turn-based RPG. Which a turn-based RPG winning the Game Awards in like 2025 is such a strange thing to even think about. I think that's why people are mad about it. If I'm honest.
So Claire Obscure, which I think was a bunch of former Ubisoft devs, I think so. Like I guess a AA studio. They won Best Indie Game, and then I think Game of the Year and Best Game Direction, as well as Best Game Narrative and Best RPG, all went to Expedition 30. They had a very successful year in the same way Baldur's Gate 3 did last year. And I think that a lot of people who were writing hard on like Ghosts of Yotei or whatever, which had like some very deliberately woke voice acting and leadership direction behind it, had lost. And they were coming up with all the arguments to a point where I saw someone in my Telegram chat today literally use the term quality slop.
Quality slop.
Yeah,
quality slop.
Post, yeah.
Hello, my intersectional phrenologist. Sex Freakman is here. We love Sex Freakman. He's our favorite commenter, reply guy, super chatter. I see he changed his profile picture. I probably shouldn't put that one up. Just realized who's in it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's beautiful.
But to get to the news, though, it seems that people went really crazy over the weekend. There were like multiple instances of people freaking out, like people doing atrocious things. I don't know if you wanted to get into the news or it's probably beyond.
So there's your reason, Gio. Pretty white woman video game beat ugly lesbian Asian video game.
So
oh, wow. They're putting the woke away.
No.
Definitely not.
No.
I think the putting the woke away option, I think, would have been like Arc Raiders, because it's just like a normal extraction shooter. And I know a lot of people were upset that game didn't win, especially because like people think like it winning would be extraction shooters going mainstream, even though like Tarkov was already pretty mainstream. People don't realize how like successful Tarkov was as a game. I was arguing with some guy about this because the argument was actually about, because a lot of people thought at the Game Awards they were going to announce Half-Life 3 finally.
Oh yeah.
Those people
I was telling Gio a couple episodes ago, I have been enjoying the Schadenfreude and the like schizophrenic ramblings of r/Half-Life on Reddit for the last 3 weeks.
Gosh.
And now when you go to that subreddit, it looks like someone is just smearing shit all over the walls in the insane asylum.
It looks like Lon Kesh during the Troubles.
There's no moderation, and so it's just schizobabble.
I saw a perfect distillation of like how disappointed the Half-Life community, all 20 people who are left in it, were about like Half-Life 3 not actually being announced. It was a YouTube short explaining how 3 different guys were trying to one-up each other in counting how many tiles there were in a certain level of Half-Life 2. And it was like a whole extravaganza. I was like, this is what they have to talk about. This is what like the dedicated Half-Life fans in 2025 have to talk about, because there's just nothing else to talk about when it comes to Half-Life.
That was like, I remember near the end of the original Let's Players with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, I remember like Onlyus, before he became like an IP2 streamer destroying his life with alcoholism. I remember Only Use Me Blade. He's like, Well, there's this mod where you could flip the maps in Modern Warfare, like in Call of Duty 2. He's like, well, I know like things are on its last legs, right? But like maybe if you just flip the maps, people will get interested in it again. I'm like, wow, that's kind of sad in a way. Like when you can feel like a lobby, like a video game lobby, like closing down, and it's like it's over. Like nobody plays this thing anymore. It's I don't know. There's a sadness to it,
It's always weird or wild sometimes to go to a game that is functionally dead and just seeing who are the last few clingers on. If you want this, if you're an Xbox player and you want to take advantage of backwards compatibility, because the servers, I don't know if they're closed anymore. They were still open a few years ago. If you go to the original orange box for Xbox 360 release circa 2007, you can play at your own risk. You can still play Team Fortress 2 as it released on the orange box for the 360's multiplayer.
Oh boy, that's gotta be interesting. If that's still around,
I remember prior to me having a PC, so this was like 2019, so this is like 6 years ago now. I would play that regularly because you could always get a full lobby. And it would be, like these weird kind of modded out, like you have 50 minutes per round of trying to get through on Dust Bowl of everyone just playing engineer versus a team of God knows what to get through. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it was mega popular, Team Fortress 2.
Well, I mean, It still is. I mean, although it's been thoroughly, I think, left behind in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
they're actively trying to kill it so they can promote their new MOBA Deadlock, which is actually a lot of fun. I'll be honest. I like it. Definitely, it giving a hero shooter third person perspective to a MOBA game was, I think, the thing to make MOBA games a lot more fun, at least for me personally.
I have not played any MOBAs, so I really wouldn't know.
Well, they're torturous, so I don't blame you.
No, I refuse to play the MOBA. You put a joke in there. Purists were arguing fiercely Half-Life 2 was a shitty sequel, and HL1 arguing it shouldn't. You can't. I disagree with that. I think
HL2 is,
I mean, HL1 is what I go back to more often than not. If I want to play a Half-Life 2, I'm going to play the episodes because I think they're shorter. They're on a rails, but they're more entertaining. HL2 is really a slog to get through on a replay because I really just want to skip till I get to Ravenholm. Like the first several chapters, I kind of want to skip around.
I'm an avid Half-Life 2 role player on Gmod, so I can't speak too much.
Zoomer detected.
But anyways, so we have the Brown University shooting, and then we have Bondi Beach.
We went straight to the depressing stuff.
Yeah, I know. But like the end of Steins Gate like broke me, man. I gotta admit, it was nice though. It was a nice ending. But anyways,
we'll spend a good chunk of change on that, so I wouldn't worry. Too much. But yeah, those two things did happen, unfortunately, and. Not so sure what to add on to other than I think that it's pretty. I mean, we live in a very surveilled society, so it remains to be seen how quickly the shooter can get away. This feels very much like the Boston bombing, where a lot of people are trying to use all sorts of internet tools to find out who did it. Mm-hmm. And then so far, one person's been released. There's been an accusation based on gait analysis, GAIT, that the shooter may have been allegedly a pronouns in bio Palestinian protester, and of course one of the victims that was shot was I think a student on student visa, and then a young 19-year-old. I think she was the vice president of the college Republicans at Brown University, which is absolutely tragic.
Oh, no coincidence at all, though. No,
I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I mean this was obviously a politically targeted thing.
It certainly seems that way.
Yeah. Which is crazy. Again, I think it goes back to like the Charlie Kirk thing where, I mean, okay, maybe Charlie Kirk had said certain things, but like that doesn't justify it. But like, what is this like 19-year-old college Republican girl? Like, what has she ever said that would like be really offensive? It's like that doesn't to them, like the sort of leftist, terrorist. That's not They don't really care about that. It doesn't really matter if you are, it doesn't really matter if you're like a Suka Groiper 88 or if you're just like your standard Republican, future staffer type that talks about tax cuts. To them, there's no difference. So, yeah.
I think it certainly also just proves what a lot of people were saying, including myself, at the Charlie Kirk assassination, which is that like it wasn't about Charlie Kirk himself. Charlie Kirk was not shot because he's Charlie Kirk. He was shot because he was like a right winger, and now we have evidence to show that they're just shooting right wingers. Like because I mean nobody knew this girl's name except for people maybe who went to Brown University before she was shot.
Right.
Like this is, most, and I think, like I would be willing to bet that it's not just like a student at Brown University. I would not be surprised.
That's a possibility. I mean, it probably is a student, but like that is a possibility.
Well, I don't think Tyler Robinson actually a student at the university that Charlie Kirk was speaking at? Because I thought he wasn't.
I think he may have been.
I know he went to like some kind of school, but I thought he went to like trade school or something. Because I thought I saw Scott Greer make a tongue-in-cheek tweet about it.
Yeah. No, but the thing is, though, I mean, it is.
He was not enrolled. No.
Oh, he was not enrolled then.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. According to his parents, he was not enrolled there at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think I really want to touch the Bondi Beach thing.
No, he was. Yeah, he was in an electrical apprenticeship at Dixie Technical College.
Yeah. So because I swore I remembered that like Scott Greer make a tweet about it because Scott's the one who makes the tweets about the people who are just like go join the trades. That's
Scott Greer. Scott Greer is anti-Hickman, and for that I am pro Scott Greer.
Yeah. But no, but this one, I mean, it really is. I mean, it's. I think the problem is like the discourse I've been seeing. Like I had this tweet about it. Like you could almost predict what the different factions are going to say. I think the problem that people have is that you can't really. No one can be, I think, as nuanced as to parse out the different realities that can happen simultaneously. You know what I mean? Like I know, like I was listening to talk radio, and of course, like they're doing the whole like anti-Palestinian activist thing, and it's like that's. I think like when it comes to the Australian thing, obviously when it comes to the government, when it comes to discourse, even among like controlled opposition conservatives and Tories, it's not going to be about deporting all these, deporting people. It's going to be about like, well, this is how we have to crack down on freedom of speech even harder, but it's going to be like a based version of it by going after like Palestinian activists or whatever, or they're going to do the whole like this father and son, they were connected to like different terrorist groups or whatever. But it's just, so I think like the problem is that, like I've said, two things can be true at the same time. Like Muslim terrorism obviously exists. I mean, I've seen like a lot of deranged takes that like, every act of Muslim terror is the result of a certain intelligence agency. Like that's obviously not reality.
It's so silly. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of them have been, but for geopolitical strategic purposes. But in this case, it's just to hand wave away every act of Muslim terror and be like, well, it's because of this intelligence agency. Like, obviously that's nonsense. But at the same time, I think using it as a justification for going after certain people or going after certain groups or having like, of course, the media, they're already blaming the political right in Australia, it's like so I think it's two things can be true at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, and at the end of the day, when it comes to mainstream narratives that they're going to go with, none of it will translating into benefiting, in the case of Bondi Beach, the Australian people, or in the case of Brown University, actual Americans or people on the political right. And I think another thing too is that I've seen a lot of people who were like very dedicated pro-Trump plan trusters starting to sort of slowly question and be like, well, if there's not really going to be any action after this, then similar with Charlie Kirk, then it's yeah. I mean, I could say more, but I mean, maybe it's not. I don't know. What do you guys think?
It's such a balancing act because, like, I know a lot of people in the administration, and there are a lot of people who like want to be doing like a whole lot more, and are actively trying to do a whole lot more. You know, like in response to Kirk, like things did happen. There were changes. There were arrests. There are ongoing investigations, but probably not as sweeping as we would like. And part of that is because of the political reality is that like the Trump administration still has a lot of these career people who like, you know, are the beautiful losers of the Republican Party. You know, they don't want anything real to happen. You know, they just like, you know, their career job and they don't want to have to work. And so, you know, it's like but I do get people getting like demoralized by it. I mean,
Right.
look, the people in the administration get demoralized by it, you know, but like, I think the real takeaway is to like that every time this happens, we just need to like demand more happen. Because otherwise it is just going to continue happening. Like there's going to be shooting after shooting after shooting after shooting.
Right. But also like Australia too. Like I think there were a lot of conspiracy theories, which I think doesn't make sense because when it comes like specifically to the Palestinian issue, I mean, Australia did recognize their statehood. It's not like, you know what I mean? Like it's not yeah, but that's what I mean. I think, unfortunately, they will use this as sort of like pro-Middle Eastern intervention thing. I mean, what happened was terrible. Obviously, it's a tragedy. People get that term tragedy wrong in terms of the terms of like the Greek etymology. It's like a tragedy is almost, how shall I explain? I remember I had an English professor explain this once. A tragedy is more of like a self-forced error, whereas like a terrible event is a terrible event. You know what I mean? Like it's when people use that term tragedy as a blanket thing, but this is not. You know what I mean? Like it's. But anyways, yeah. I mean, I guess for colloquial terms, it's a tragedy, obviously, and you pray for the victims, and but you know, I think. I mean, they're talking about silly things like gun control, and it's just.
Yeah, I thought it was like I saw that today of like is somebody in the Australian left being like, and this is a reason why we need more gun control in Australia, or these things will keep happening. And it's like, what are you talking about? Are you serious right now? You know,
Yeah.
you know, because I remember they did this too. Back when Christchurch happened.
Right, yeah.
And it was like, dude, the guy went to New Zealand. He got all his guns from New Zealand. And I think that's what happened here too, is that they got their guns from New Zealand. I know New Zealand passed some stricter gun laws after Christchurch.
But I mean, let's face it, is that these types of people are, because of anarcho-tyranny and because the Western governments and the Anglosphere specifically refuse to treat these people like the security threat that they are. They're not going to, you know, arrest them when they use illegal means to acquire firearms that the average white Australian cannot get a hold of unless they are willingly, you know, do everything, including a colonoscopy for the state, to even access them. I mean, this is the thing that's very irritating is that one, you know, on both parties, their ethnic conflicts that should be confined to the Middle East should not be playing out on the shores of countries that have nothing to do with it. Right. And unfortunately, just as what I've seen here in the U.S., like there are legitimate problems that the administration wants to tackle. And unfortunately, the thing that's currently clearing the House right now in some discussions and some committees has been like digital ID, which, I mean, in a lot of ways, America kind of functionally has digital ID in a lot of ways. But
A full-on one, you mean?
Like a full-on one for age verification. You have like fucking Mike Lee from Utah promoting this. He's like, I'm working with Pinterest on it. And some of these things have cleared like House subcommittees. And it's just, what are we doing when the very clear and present danger to the United States and to really all Western countries is the fact that we have allowed millions of people in using Christian and HIAS, like other Jewish charities, to functionally import angry Middle Easterners and other parts of the world to either take jobs, become a net negative on the public welfare state, and to systematically reinvent white slavery on a scale we have not seen since the Barbary States.
Yeah.
Like at this point, it's not even, like you'd said, I think it's the correct phrase. Like, it's not tragedy. This has been the willful, just, we have chosen a new client class and we have no problem watching you, die.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously we condemn what happened at Bonny Beach. We condemn what happened at Brown University. Obviously, like, that goes without saying. But like, I do think it's kind of like, I've seen like the liberal response, which is to blame the right wing, and I've seen like the conservative and in the Australian case, like the Tory response, which is like to harp on this very pro-Zionist thing, where it's like we have to get rid of all campus people and blah blah blah, but none of that translates into the real issue.
It doesn't translate into
immigration
control.
Exactly, none of it does. So, I mean, there's like again, people think that they could cut deals with certain things, but that's not, it's very funny. It's kind of like what here in Canada, it's like what Fortisac said recently about the implosion of this like British political party. It's like, why do you have a bunch of people, like, even like with Rebel News, like, why do we have to care about these people that have these different ethnic interests throughout the world? Aren't we, like, what about Canadians? Why do we have to care about Khalistan? He listed them all. He was very impartial, Fortisac. He said, why do I have to care about either Russia or Ukraine? Why do I have to care about either Israel or Palestine? Why do I have to care about either Khalistan or the Hindutva Indians? Like, just, it's insane. And a lot of conservatives have this thing where it's like, I'm going to appeal to one. And of course the left does it as well. They have their own pet lobbies. And it's like, I have to appeal to like one side over the other to get out the leftoids. Then the left is like, I have to appeal to the other side. But it's like, it's insane. It's insane. Now, I do think certain sides, I mean, obviously, like, people know my position. Obviously, I feel for the Palestinian people, but I think the point still stands. You know what I mean? But anyways, people are begging us to review the anime. It's only 30 minutes. We haven't gone a full hour doing the news. There's been a lot of news, Felix, but we will get to Steins Gate. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they see my profile picture and they're like, they got an anime expert, so we got to get to the anime. But
this would not have happened had you not texted me when we were beginning the show last Friday.
Well, it was funny because I saw somebody in the chat like ask if I like anime girls. Because of what I like. Yeah, because like I literally the message I sent you, it was like I want to marry Kurisu or something like that. I sent because Kurisu is unironically one of my favorite anime girls. Not to derail too much, but in addition to that, our mutual friend Prude, who is trying to get me to marry his daughter.
Yeah.
So when I DM on Twitter, his name is right next to a friend of mine who his account is nothing but retweeting anime girls. So every once in a while, when an anime girl post comes across my timeline that goes to someone else,
wait, he's trying to get you to marry his daughter?
Yes.
This is like legal age, though. This is not.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh well.
Okay,
yes. Well,
anything that this man is saying, I can either personally tell you is true or it's bullshit, just because I see this guy every week.
Yes,
but everything's like on the up and up, though. This is like.
Yeah. No. This isn't. No. So
why don't you marry his daughter then?
We're working on it.
We're working on it.
Okay.
I'm working on it. Anyways, what I was going to say
like
is
he steers anime girls, and it's like he wants you to marry his daughter. I'm like, oh my god, no.
no.
Okay.
Him in my messages is right next to the guy I send. Like when an anime girl post comes across my timeline, I send it to this friend. So several times I've almost accidentally sent to this, our Gen Xer friend, like an anime girl, in like a swimsuit or something. And I'm like, whoops,
I want you to marry my daughter, but you just showed me a picture of Asuka. It's over.
Yeah.
It's over. Was that Pac-Man respecter in the chat who's like, yeah, I showed that muscle mommy at the gym my favorite anime, and she just like, don't talk to me ever again. Was that Pac-Man respecter? Or was that?
I don't know. I try not to read chat's opinions on anime.
I know, but he was sending us super chats. I was really rooting for him to go with that muscle mommy.
I think he had said that he had screwed it up at one point. I don't know.
I disavow going after muscle mommies. That's a
safe horny
position. I think it's safe horny. Yes.
It could go either. I don't really mind. I don't like. I think the Reddit obsession with the muscle mommy is bad. Obviously, it's safe horny, but like I think if you just know a muscle mommy in real life and like you're into her, I think that's fine.
See, it's been ruined because like the last two female characters added to Marvel Rivals have been muscle mommies.
Yeah,
and it's just I have to be like exposed to this because I play that game.
Yeah, so you got to disavow.
1.5-year relationship tanked because I collected every limited edition of JoJo's Bizarre.
I kneel.
Oh my God.
I kneel.
Commitment.
I kneel.
Commitment.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
All right, so we've gone through the depressing stuff, and I mean, we could have had more takes, but we really have to get to Steins Gate and that other anime that you said. What was that other anime from last week?
What other anime from last week?
Gaia.
Oh, Code Geass. Yeah, you could talk about that.
I could talk about that for days. Oh my God.
I said, because someone had, I think, asked how much to pay me to review it, and I said, I don't know if I could do it alone, but I know that
I
could talk about it for hours. I don't watch. The only times I ever really watch this stuff is when you fuckers pay me to review it. So
I would watch it for free. Like I wouldn't even need the money to watch that with you.
I didn't mean to put Pac-Man Respecter on blast. I'm not trying to.
She was muscular. She wasn't a mommy though. Well, that's fine. As long as you should be with a woman that has not. You do not need to be the man who steps up, Pac-Man Respecter. You don't need to be the man who steps up. You are your own man.
What? I mean, I know. Okay, I know it's. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's do that. Man, I'd be scared if a normie woman sees my collection of discs and books. Yeah, nothing is more terrifying than a woman going through your bookshelf, because I don't hide anything off my bookshelf, and I know neither does my friend here. And we just, I don't care.
Honestly, at some point,
throw a blanket over your copy of Imperium.
No, no. This is the funny story. So, before I lived so I'm in an apartment. In a while after the transplant, I was at my parents', kind of getting back on my feet because medical bills are insane. And on my desk in my bedroom, I had a few things. On my computer desk, I had a few copies of Death to the World magazine. I had Man in Technics by Oswald Spengler. And I had, from Parallax Optics when they were still around, I had the 1 out of 20-something copies of, My Sick Twisted World from Mr. Roger. Because I was like, I want to buy this nice kind of, bounded copy of some random fun poster. And my mother locked on the door and she asked me what I was doing. I wasn't live or anything. And she's like, I'm a little worried about what you're reading. And I'm thinking to myself, oh no, did she just see the Elliot Rodger manifesto on my computer? Because there's a picture of a woman on the cover with a bikini on. And I was like, oh, that's not what she's worried about, or the Spangler thing, or the other books I have in my library. And she was more concerned about my Death to the World magazines. And she's like, well, that seems a little like off-putting or scary. And I'm thinking to myself, this is the least frightening literature I have in my possession.
Yeah, but the thing is, Kyle, though, in the chat, I feel like that's a millennial, early to mid 2000s thing where any any book, any manga you have on your shelf is like inherently ho-scaring. Like there's a lot of like, I'm assuming you're a Zoomer, so I'm like, there's like a lot of Zoomer and even like millennial girls who are into anime. And so I feel like that's a bygone cultural thing.
Even if they aren't like actually into it, they're like performatively into it. I run into like a lot of Zoomer women who like are like performatively into anime, and then
that's Zoomer right there. 27, is it not?
And then I think 27's like the cusp of Zoomer, millennial,
zillennial, or whatever.
Zillennial,
But like they you know, like they're like, I'm really into anime, and it's like it's whatever is the most popular anime on like Netflix right now is the only thing they watched. Yeah, like it's like I like Demon Slayer, and it was like, okay.
My Hero Academia,
exactly.
Hog status confirmed. Hog status. Oh man.
Speaking of scaring the hoes, I just remembered I've been threatened with death if I don't ask you this question, Gio.
Okay.
Mr. Polemical has asked me to ask you
God.
if your girlfriend's gonna let you go to Mayfair this year.
I probably wouldn't tell her if I went. No, I would though. I'd tell her. If it's just be like, listen, I have to sell merch to these people, I'm gonna make money. Then she'd be like, yeah, okay, I guess it's fine. So,
you know, as a good friend of the Brony Yugen and not a Brony myself, you know, I think they will appreciate that answer.
Well, you know, distinguished English literature professor Nima Parvani is getting into My Little Pony.
I did see that. See that.
Is Buttercup Dew still around from the Countercurrents days? He wrote that book, My Nationalist Pony.
I have no idea.
I have no idea.
Mr. Polemical has been begging me to read that book. I'm like, I don't know, man. It's like, I know it's a pretty notorious like meme book. Like it's a pretty infamous thing. Like if any of you wanted to pay me like maybe like $1,000, I would read My Nationalist. I would review it.
You know, Mr. Polemical will probably be extremely tempted by that offer.
Okay, not 1,000. That's too much. I will settle for maybe above my fee, maybe like 300, but it's got to be American dollars.
I think
dollars.
I think that the Brony Yugen would get money together to have you do a live reading at Mayfair.
I could do that, yes, if they paid me.
That would be an amazing panel at the.
I think you could make that
the top MAGA convention of the year with Mayfair.
And they would all be sitting there in their Patrick Casey My Little Pony shirts, listening to Gio read.
I love those shirts. I want one of those shirts so bad.
Is there like that'd be like a crazy culture war thing? Like they'd be like the Antifa faction of Mayfair. They'd be like the right wing Chud faction, and like they'd protest my reading of My Nationalist Pony. Then they'd have like a Q&A panel, and some like trans My Little Pony fan would like storm the stage.
Little Parvini.
My understanding in Mayfair is that the only people who go are like the most like devious gooners in the world, and like actual chuds, and that's it.
Okay, so there's not going to be like an Antifa contingent at Mayfair.
No, I know for a fact because you know Mr. Polemical and another friend of mine went to the last Mayfair. That they met Josie from.
They met Josie from Fish Tank.
Yeah, from Fish Tank. She was there.
Did she have to have like personal security to like?
No, but she did have like a group of orbiters constantly around her.
Yeah,
no way.
Just like bum rush her. Yeah.
You don't say.
Yeah.
No, I'd have to like I would perform at Mayfair, but I'd have to have like one of those chicken cages. Like remember, like you know, in Roadhouse, like in the bars, like they'd if the band started sucking, they'd start throwing bottles at the chicken cage. It'd be like that. I'd have to I have to get the gooners off me, but I would do it though. I would read an essay on My Little Pony at Mayfair if they paid me enough.
Like you have to understand, Gio. Like as soon as I texted him here, he was just all like, Oh, by the way, would you two be willing to do a live DA recording?
It'd be amazing. Yeah, we'd be a live.
Gio, I've been trying to tell you, let's do a DA episode live at like a bar or a theater somewhere for like a year and a half.
Yeah,
and you're like, I don't know, man. I don't know. You never go anywhere.
The live episode at Bear Fair would be an all-timer.
I would seriously rethink my life and shop for more firearms by mouthfeel.
We'd have to.
Okay, here's the thing, Pac-Man Inspector. I've wanted to do a live DA show for a while. You're going to get a live Do You Even Read before we get a live DA, because Dimes and I are already planning it, and we'll probably do it in Chicago.
There's I would go to Chicago. It's only 9 hours, so if Dimes picks me up, I'd go.
Oh, that sounds okay. We could make that work.
Yeah.
You can say hello to my brother.
Oh, but anyways, no, that would be great. Like, I mean, we could do it. I remember like Levy did like a live BTR at Sovereign House or wherever, and it's like I think it was with Rajani. But yeah, we could do that. I mean, but a live DA at Mare Fair, that would be iconic. That would be like the content would be like.
You were speaking something into being I don't want to be a part of.
I mean, if they paid us money, man, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Gio, you're gonna watch Dimes and Prude podcast together in a little chair in the corner. Man. I will buy Gio.
Get him the hotel room chair.
Yeah, I'll get him the cup chair. Don't you worry.
That's like that one of the greatest interviews with I ever saw in a hotel room was that one David Foster Wallace one. I think it was in Germany or it was in France, where like the interviewer, she could barely speak English, but like he was in a hotel and you could tell like his backpack, like his bag was like right behind him, and yeah, some of the greatest content has come from hotel rooms.
Yeah, a lot of things comes in hotel rooms there, Gio. Thank you for noticing. The Chud chair. That's very true.
Chud chair.
I did appreciate the Kiwi Farms releasing of the Styx arrest photos.
That was Kino.
John
that
Forrest.
was, you know.
I haven't watched.
I have not watched a Styx Hex and Hammer video since 2019, but it was weird seeing Jack Sparrow get arrested.
True. Yeah. I'm not up to date on the lolcow stuff because I haven't watched Matt at the internet in a few weeks. So I'm really
I just found out he follows me, so I should probably try and get him on the show.
Oh, Josh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I
think he would come too. He would definitely come.
But no, I mean, for some reason, like, well, I know why, because they have his info, but like Styx, he like really hates the Kiwi Farm. I'm actually glad. Like every time I've been mentioned on the Kiwi Farms, that it's been positive. Thank God. So no, but I know like Styx like really hates Josh, and he really like he like
a lot of people hate him.
I was about to say a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people hate him.
I like this. We have this is a very easy Gio bingo win. He's been wrestling. There hasn't been have we had an embarrassing childhood stories yet? No,
not yet.
No. There's no e-girl drama to mention. I could mention e-girl drama. We could talk about e-girl drama, but we won't.
Did you see Empath Chan?
I was about to say, haven't you noticed the quality of the New York Young Republicans Club being a complete shit?
They had, what did people say? They used to have like, didn't JD Vance or someone go?
The Brimlows went like a year ago. Yeah. The man who wrote Alienation and coined the term "War on Christmas."
God.
Yeah. Does Prude know about the Gio short bus special ed lore? I think this got mentioned on the show.
No, I was never on the short bus though. Like, I mean, I had to go to the resource room to do extra exercises, but anyways.
You notice how none of us said a word and you just dug yourself into a hole?
What? It's like, it's a legitimate condition.
What are we talking about here? Dyslexia?
It's like a form of like dyslexia or Asperger's or whatever. I forget exactly. I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're about an hour in, so as is
All right,
tradition
we
on
get,
this show, we will move on to the topic that we were paid handsomely to review. The gentleman who paid me, we were talking back and forth, and he says, he says I wasn't going to subject you to the visual novel or the game that's on Steam. He's like, that would have been like 30 hours of your time that I don't know you would have gotten back. And I said, I probably would have done it if it were just me. Review Whitewashing America, or I bubble bath my cat.
I
You're
guess
gonna
a
clean
cat's
your
getting
cat?
bubble bath.
That's that doesn't sound very healthy. All right, well, we'll get to the super chats later. I would always recommend that you do them via Entropy rather than YouTube. But okay, so we kind of gave a very brief overview of the show. Gio had not yet finished watching it. I had talked about extensively last week that it was kind of weird coming back to the show because I watched it in high school, and I think I seen it 2 or 3 times when I was in like high school and college. I remember really liking it. And then kind of coming back to it, it was like one of those weird like millennial libtard moments where I was like, I don't remember all of these other things that I just kind of conveniently glanced over when I was younger. But not much knowledge bringeth much sorrow, I suppose. But Onizuka, what are your thoughts on Steins Gate? Why don't we just start there with your impressions?
I mean, other than that, it's probably like one of the greatest pieces of media ever. I mean, Steins Gate really to me is like quintessential like sci-fi fiction, and I mean like hard sci-fi stuff, where it focuses a lot more on the actual like science of the scenarios, and to me is the best time travel story still that we have around. It's at least very consistent in comparatively to basically everything else, but also just I think that it came from a time where even like Japanese media can't really do this anymore, of just storytelling that doesn't appeal to the lowest common denominator. Like Steins Gate is a very hard watch for like a normie. Your average normie is not going to like Steins Gate, frankly, even though it's a very popular series.
It's got a love story in it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like it's very alienating to watch for your first time if you're not like super paying attention and you're not somebody who like is at least around like 100 IQ, frankly. I could not imagine like plucking someone who's like a 8 IQ and then saying, hey, watch this show, and them liking it. Not to discount Dragon Ball Z Americans too much, especially as somebody who grew up watching Dragon Ball. But like people, it's not something that if you like shonen, and like when I say like shonen, you're like that person who likes just the action of anime and the art style and everything, you're not going to like it. You're not going to like Steins Gate. And so I mean, it's hard to talk about this series other than just like glazing it constantly, because it is really, really, really good.
One thing I noticed about the aesthetic, I mean, it's obviously very similar to Lane in terms of subject matter as well. It does cross over into the metaphysical, but also I noticed like, maybe it's because like I'm a soillennial and so I'm kind of like reifying it, but I noticed like in the middle, like towards the early middle of the series, you do get this vibe, maybe because they're only using internet forums and text messaging. Like you get this vibe that there are these friends that are sort of like, like I know it's the meme, like we're living in the moment, just vibing, but like it's these friends and they're on a mission, and it's like they are kind of like living in the moment, and it is about like a friend adventure, and they do have they're like sort of like there's an air of like coolness, even though they're nerds, that they're like surfing the digital wave at a time when it wasn't like totally filled with like ridiculous nonsense, or it felt like soul destroying, where like people were sharing a lot of generally interesting things on forums. But it does feel like they still have a connection to their real lives and to like everyday life, even though they are these like creatures of the early to middle period internet, and they are like these sort of like terminally online nerds. They do have like a connection to each other and a connection to other people, and they are sort of like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of this media, a lot of this style of like, in particular in anime, there is sort of like a sense of like, yeah, they're just, especially the music of Steins Gate. I really like that one very like ambient or jazzy drum and bass type of track. Like they are sort of like reflecting what they're doing, and they are like friends. And I feel like nowadays, I don't know if you could make the same. I don't think you could replicate the vibe of Steins Gate in the era of like mass social media and like, you know, like Twitter and you know, TikTok and so on and so forth. I mean, you probably could, but it would feel very different. Like we do have this sense of like alienation rather than affirmation that comes from the digital world.
Well, and also just like the writing of the show is very different to the sensibilities of like writing in shows today, even anime. Like, I mean, and we're like reflecting on Steins Gate before this show, because I definitely didn't have enough time to completely rewatch it before now. But like, I just remember so much of Steins Gate is them not even like doing the sci-fi stuff or doing anything with time travel. It's just them talking about like their interests and stuff. And that would just not fly with, you know, modern audiences whose, you know, attention spans have been shortened so much by like algorithms and everything. And you know, so there's entire episodes where like literally like nothing happens to advance the plot further. It's just that these characters existing and you get to like know them better.
Yeah, and it's not like a Walking Dead type of like just get to the story type of deal. It's like you actually are interested in them.
Yeah, well, and because these people are like very interesting and I think relatable, especially to people like us who, you know, have interacted with the internet so much, because like literally like these are like forum posters and you know, like weird like otakus and stuff as characters. And even
they're the terminally online before that term really got popular.
Yeah,
and they got to I mean, this is the thing is that we kind of take everything for granted by living this very digital existence. But even though we're joking about it, you had mentioned Mayor Fair, and it's like the fact that a convention exists for the fandom of My Little Pony, like that would have been something that any of these characters probably would have gone to. Like the story starts because they want to find they're going to see a lecture from a quote unquote disgraced academic who has theories on the possibility of time travel, like that. And these things do exist. You can go find these talks, or you can go to bars or, you know, weird common places for public buildings at a community center where they'll host these kinds of events. Like, keep in mind, even like 15 years ago, you didn't need to know who Mencius Moldbug was, but if you knew Robin Hansen, like sometime in 2012, you got to watch him debate futarchy with this guy called Mencius Moldbug. Like, you would pay money in person to see this. And I think we kind of take it for granted that we kind of just live this completely more online existence, whereas this is still in an age where social media is not as much of a thing. There's still forum culture and the sort of BBS kind of deal. And obviously they're playing into things that were part of already very niche subcultures. Like, as Gio and I were talking about it yesterday, like if you didn't know about Coast to Coast and you didn't know about John Teeter, then you're going to miss all of the references that this show is using to craft the story that moves the plot forward. Like it's it's very much playing to an existing subculture. And like it's like I said, it's a weeb, it's a weeb's weeb, and it's a nerd's nerd. I made the reference to compare it to the Venture Brothers because there's a lot of references and cultural affectations that if you're not already part of this like group, or you don't understand even a Wikipedia like sentence glance of what this thing means,
Yeah.
you're not going to understand, and it's not going to hold your hand to explain it either.
Well, like there you go, Saratoga. Like in the series, they were all like they would kind of like rib each other for like you're a 2-channer, and they're all like no, I'm not. But then like all three of like all of them are 2-channers, and so it's like it's like they're just basically like otakus, and like Daru's like the sort of like perverted weeb nerd. But like someone should do an AI edit of Steins Gate. It's 2010, and it starts off with them going to see a Jonathan Bowden lecture. That would be
yeah, that would.
be
I swear I've seen an edit kind of like that. I don't think it was Jonathan Bowden. I think it was like Jared Taylor. Like it was like the distinguished character seeing Jared Taylor.
Yeah, disgraced Professor Jared Taylor. You know, that's how Steins Gate opens. They're going to see a Jared Taylor lecture.
But yeah, like
and he speaks
Gate
perfect,
is like,
fluent Japanese.
I think Steins Gate is one of those shows that also you could use as like a filter for people. You know, like if somebody watched Steins Gate and they didn't like it, like that person can't be trusted. Like that person is like a danger to society, and like needs to be. But the only type of people I can imagine not liking Steins Gate are people I like don't want to associate with, because they're people that just don't get it, and I can't connect with on like a genuine level. You know,
did the Time Cube die? Sorry, didn't the Time Cube guy? Didn't he pass away, or is he still around? The Time Cube guy.
Otis Ray, right?
Yeah.
Hell if I know. I couldn't tell you. I mean, that blog or the thing came out like 30 years ago. There's a good chance he's dead.
Yeah. No, but I was gonna ask you, Onizuka, like.
Oh yeah, he did. He died allegedly in 2015.
Wow.
That reminds me of.
He died in 2015.
I recently learned. You guys know who Common Filth is?
Oh yeah, he died recently.
Yeah, that he died recently. I heard that recently, and I was shocked by that, because he's another guy. Like he's a like kind of related to the topic we're talking about with Steins Gate, of like he felt like one of those people that you only knew if you were around in the 2015, 2014 era, and like people don't know who Common Filth is now. You know, like new guys on the block, so to speak, you know, they have no idea who this guy was, but he was like fundamental in creating a lot of the polemics we use today. Especially on the gay stuff.
Yeah, same with Davis Serini. Like he was very fundamental to like right-wing YouTube. Like I'm like, for example, like I'm pretty much in some weird way, like I'm only here because of Common Filth, because that's how I heard about Nobody TM. But no, I was gonna ask you, Onizuka, like you said that nowadays with modern, like, you know, I'm assuming you're more well versed in like contemporary anime that's made like in this, you know, this time, this decade. Like you say that it's modern anime, they have an inability. Well, I wanted to go actually to like the ending plot of Steins Gate, then we'll go to like deeper analysis. But you said that there's an inability to write characters that are interesting and that have like a dialogue that is meaningful. But I wonder, like slice of life animes are still very popular, but I've heard that like the slice of life genre has become this like weird slop.
Yeah, I mean, like,
happened? Can they write characters still or no?
Everything in anime needs a gimmick, you know, and a lot of this came from the isekai becoming really popular. You know, like you have the absurd isekais, like I reincarnated in another world with my smartphone, or reincarnated in another world as a mini fridge. You know, like because at some point, like we just lost, you know, an ability to just have a story. And the few good like contemporary anime that exist are the ones that don't really like engage in this gimmick stuff. You know, like stuff like Freyren. I like Mushoku Tensei, even though it's an isekai, but it's like an isekai that kind of returns to formula and is just like, this is a guy reincarnated in another world, and that's basically it. Like there's no other real gimmicks there other than that it's like, this is a 40-year-old guy who was in a NEAT his entire life, and then
Yeah.
just reincarnated as a baby. So he's like a young child commenting on a young girl who he's attracted to, but he's like really 40 years old, so it like filters
Oh my god.
the wow, isn't this really creepy, guys? Type people. But yeah, I mean, like in really the only good stuff that comes out anymore is stuff being adapted from like manga and light novels that came out like almost a decade ago now.
Yeah, 10, 20, 30 years ago.
Because like, and even then, you have like the latest season of One Punch Man completely dropping the ball.
One Punch Man is still around?
Yes. There's an ongoing season right now, and there's a lot of controversy because JC Staff is the studio that animates it now, and they're like a terrible animation studio. Like they're like largely to blame for the like slopifying of anime, because they wanted to market to a wider market than just the Japanese market. And really that's, I think, the biggest problem that has happened with anime is that it becoming mainstream and becoming like a normal thing in the West and other places as well has altered the consumer base. And when you alter the consumer base, the product is going to reflect the consumers, and the consumers are Dragon Ball Z Americans,
right.
Which can even be reflected in Dragon Ball itself. Modern Dragon Ball stuff, a lot of people consider to be way worse than Dragon Ball Z, and I would largely agree with that. And the reason is because Dragon Ball is like a household name now. Right. It's pretty likely you run into an old person who knows, what Dragon Ball is. That would not happen when I was a kid. When I was a kid, they were like, "Why do you want to watch cartoons from Japan?"
Right.
Why would you want to do that? And now that's like the norm. Like, little kids are watching cartoons from Japan, and openly. Like, it's not just like Pokemon or whatever. It's that like they're consistently watching stuff from Japan.
Yeah. So let's go to let's go to the end of Steins Gate. So what's
the Heideggerian nightmare that is this show?
Yes. And then we'll get to like the analysis of it. So I finally finished it where I guess we're doing a bunch of spoiler alerts where he has to go back to save his love interest, Christina, although she hates being called that. And he has to do it in a very creative way. So maybe you guys can fill in the gaps. So as we've explained before, he has the reading Steiner ability, and he's the only one, although it's implied that who is the younger girl that is like his like housemate or whatever. What's her name?
Yeah, I can't remember her name. I don't know why.
She's always kind of acting like a soldier.
Yeah.
No,
not the one who's actually
No, she comes back. Let me look up. Okay. Steins Gate. No, but anyway, so it's to save her life. The whole point is to save her life. Yeah. Because she's sort of like not his love interest, but she's sort of like the pure like sort of like Virgin Mary type of character. Like she's sort of the archetype of innocence.
The platonic, like the
Marie,
one that...
Kurisu? No, that's the scientist. Kurisu.
Yeah, Kurisu. No, Mayuri.
Mayuri, yeah.
Mayuri is the...
So Mayuri keeps dying over and over again, and Akabe, he's traumatized by witnessing her death over and over and over again. But it's implied that Mayuri is also someone who has at least a latent reading Steiner ability because she has dreams where she imagines herself dying, but not really dying because then Akabe saves her over and over and over again. So then Souza comes back in the time machine, which, I mean, that was kind of weird because I thought it could only go backwards. So yeah, I guess it makes sense. And they have to go, it's discovered that the final way to change history to prevent Karisu's asshole father from taking the blueprints for a time machine and starting World War III with the Russians, because I don't know why. I guess it's the Cold War still. This is like pre-Putin Russia, I'm assuming. Although I don't know, you'd figure like the Japanese, they would like pick the Chinese to start off World War III. That would be like the most Japanese.
I think it's more the creator. Like he's not like a geopolitics guy, and
right.
If I remember correctly, Steins Gate was like early 2000s, so there was still some talk of like Russia being like
right.
an
the show takes place in 2010.
Yeah, the show takes place in 2010, but like
this was before
the visual novel.
Yeah, the original
story came out like early 2000s.
Yeah.
Right, so there was still like the Yeltsin period where it's like, well, maybe no, I mean this is after Yeltsin, so like there was always that.
I mean, you're still dealing
with
Putin in the early 2000s.
Right, and there was still like that thing of like, well, like even nowadays you have like, could Russia come back? Like there was that absolutely ridiculous thing by the British government of like, we have to get ready to go to war with Russia. I'm like, fuck off. But anyways, so Russia is going to start World War III, and to prevent this, you guys can explain better than me, because there's certain plot lines that I'm not exactly sure on, even though I just watched it. But
the thing too is that
they have to replicate Karisu's death, but like in a way that doesn't change things. Which, I mean, the only thing is that Akabe sees her in a pile of blood. So, and that there's a very brutal but very, I think, satisfying last episode where he like does this. But anyways, yeah, go ahead, guys.
Because the beginning, the prologue to the beginning and the end, it's very much the title gives it kind of away that we're recontextualizing the entirety of the show now that we've like experienced everything that has happened. And the other thing too, right, to consider is that they're playing around with something that they fundamentally don't really get or understand, because at the very beginning they're just testing out, how can we send these D-mails, or how can we send information, or even more, consciousness, these like memories of being into the past, so you can inherit or be aware of what is going to come. And later on, and we see this get experimented on, obviously, like, well, one of the characters will just like turn them into a, make sure that they get born a girl this time, because that's the person's desire, and whole other stuff. But
there's one episode where Akabe has to go on a date with the girl version of what's his name?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so you have also to deal with, though, is that all of a sudden Akabe realizes that, like, oh, as a mad scientist or whatever, there's also now very real unintended consequences that I'm not treating this as a scientist should, because now you're playing with something that you don't actually know what the consequences are going to be. And all of a sudden, like, once he realizes that there are these second order effects, like the his entire personality really begins to change.
Yeah.
And for the better, I think, because he now realizes, I'm so far the only one who can remember what has come before, and it now becomes kind of my responsibility to ensure that whatever power that I have by being able to, like, reading Steiner, all of a sudden, like, I need to be really careful as to how this affects everyone else around me. And that's something that I really do appreciate, is that as much as he kind of has this aura about him, he never really abandons the mission, quote unquote, about, listen, there are things beyond my control here, but also at the same time, there's a great part later on towards the end where he talks about how many times he's watched her die, because it's implied he's been jumping world lines in the triple digits, like hundreds of times.
Yeah.
And I think that that's one hell of a thing to consider, is that, like, this guy has been exposed to watching the worst thing that could possibly happen to him, which is his love interest / platonic love and friend that he's always had. And now all of a sudden, like, it's over. And what do you do with that information? And it's, I think, a really good writing, in the sense that, like, on one instance, all of mankind were kind of like driven on a large scale of like, well, we exist. We're supposed to do things for those that we love and that's around us. And what do you do when fundamentally you've watched that happen so many times that he says later on to Kirisu, like, I don't feel anything anymore when she dies. Like, I've seen it happen so often.
Yeah, that's like Berserk.
Yeah.
It's like guts.
It's interesting listening to you guys talk about it too, because it occurred to me that you guys probably didn't watch Steins Gate Zero.
No, we have not.
No,
and I said that at the beginning.
Yeah, so because like that point is like more emphasized with Zero, because if you don't know about Zero, I don't want to spoil it too, because it's very divisive. Zero is very divisive among people about Steins Gate, specifically the anime adaptation, because I've heard a lot of people say that it butchers the visual novel, but Zero takes place in between the episode 24 and episode 25. After John Teeter like says we can go back in time, and Zero is like showing that actually like a whole year passed and they had to go back in time to that moment again for him to finally decide to make to like and figure out, like, he had a whole year to think about how to save Kurisu, because it shows us like the timeline of him like failing to save Kurisu and just giving up.
Yeah.
And I like Zero. A lot of people don't like Zero, but I think that it's a good accompaniment after you've watched all the way through Steins Gate, because you get to see just how impactful that decision he makes finally is, and how much it took for him to do that. And if I must recommend also, I actually don't know what the general consensus is on the sequel movies to Steins Gate, but I like them a lot. They're very good, because there's one in particular that puts Kurisu in Okabe's position, and I love it a lot because I like Kurisu a lot. And
go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think those extra materials even more emphasize the point you guys are making about just how much of an important choice it was for Okabe, because at the end of the day, he was trying to save both people. He wanted it both ways. And it took him a lot of work and sacrifice to have it both ways. And, with the sequel movie, Kurisu has to learn the same lesson and ends up learning the same lesson. And I love it because also I'm like a sucker for the romance in shows. And you get a better look at Okabe and Kurisu's romance. Which,
I appreciate that the romance aspect it's implied, but it's not done in a way where, there's no, like, it's not the forefront, like it's not important in the sense that like there are other things going on that kind of matter.
It's incredibly realistic for
which is something I really appreciated. I was like, this is a very realistic, sort of romantic, moment here, and it's also very organic. Which is something you don't see a lot in so many TV shows. Like, it's very telegraphed or forced, whereas here it's very much
they naturally grow on each other.
Yeah, it develops organically, and it's not something I was like, oh, this felt so hammed. I didn't have that problem here.
Mm-hmm. Well, so then Susa comes back from the future and gives a message on a shitty cell phone. Which I don't know. They would probably have like better cell phone technology in the future. But he gives a message. She gives a message to Okabe from himself in the future, 50 years into the future, and it tells him like you have to replicate the same scene, but without changing things, but would change the outcome. And so he lands on basically like faking, like doing a false flag on Karisu dying. And there's this like dramatic thing where he's got to like he basically has to fall on the knife of her father, and he like digs into his like stab wound and like, you know, knocks her out with a cattle gun, or not with a cattle gun, knocks her out with a taser. And so his active, like his past self, seeing her quote unquote dead, but still maintaining her as, you know, I thought it was very clever though, like faking her death to his past self. And so that's how everyone like lives happily ever after. And then he sees her in his present timeline. And yeah, but I think like a very integral way of getting your head around Steins Gate is to sort of look closely at the references to Norse mythology that the writer is dropping. So Akabe is like obsessed with Norse mythology to where he's using a lot of terms, and there's 3 operations that mimic the 3 modes of fate within Norse mythology, which I think also relates to the Heideggerian thing. So the number 1 is Uro or Urd, which represents the past or one's fate, like the woman with the loom in Norse mythology spinning the fate. That is your like world loom, like your world thread, right? Like the thread of your lifetime. Then there's Verone, or how do I say that? Verandi, which embodies the present, which is sort of like a principle of becoming or potentiality, which that's why I bring in Heidegger's definition of the clearing, when Heidegger also does come up in Steins Gate, because that present is a perpetual becoming. That present is the clearing in which being is going to reveal itself to you. And the final one, which Akabe really embodies, and again, all of this takes place in the Yggdrasil tree, in the sort of mythos of Norse mythology, the sort of Norse creation myth of the Yggdrasil, the world tree. If you're a Jungian, you know this, the Axis Mundi. This is one of the first ones in continental Europe, by the way, the Yggdrasil tree. The third one, the final one, is called Skuld. And so in the very last few episodes, Akabe says we're going to activate Operation Skuld. And this represents the future, but it's more the responsibility of future, of what shall be. And also it implies a form of debt giving or debt forgiveness or paying one's debt. It essentially translates to you having a future within duty. That is the big thing. So Akabe, he takes on the supreme sense of duty to everything around him. Because if he is the one that can see a fully revealed being of the future, Alathai, revealing, unconcealment, he is the only one that can see truly unconcealed being. But that implies a great responsibility of the future. And so he has to go back into the past to fix everything, to prevent World War III, and to make sure that both Karisu and Mayuri are both alive. And so he embodies this sort of like deeper, like, you know, an old soul type of character, even though he's still like, I think technically he's still 18 years old throughout the whole show. Because I think like the whole show takes the span of, I think, 3 weeks that they like discover the time machine and so on and so forth. And
yeah,
so
it's
here's
a short amount of time.
Yeah. So here's the etymology, modern usage. The name Veranandi is present principle of the Old Norse verb veroa, which means to become or to happen, related to the modern Dutch word worden and German word werden, both of which share the same meaning. The name and character of Veranandi also appears in modern pop culture. God of War, Sword Art and Line, Fire Emblem. The Norse mythological figure offers a rich thematic parallel to Martin Heidegger's philosophical concept of aletheia, or unconcealment, and the clearing, Lichtung, particularly through her name, meaning of becoming in that which is happening. Verandi represents the present tense of existence, that which is happening. This concept of becoming relates to the German word werden, aligns closely with Heidegger's emphasis on Dasein, human existence or being there, as a dynamic process rather than static state being in the world. Both concepts underscore the reality that is not fixed, predetermined, or scripted, such as the fates might suggest in other mythologies, but an active process of coming into being, which is unique to both the Norse and the Germanic. So that's why Heidegger also was a huge fan of Norse mythology, as well as Carl Jung was as well. Situatedness for Heidegger, thus science always being in the world, embodied in the context of relations. Similar, Verundi's actions are intrinsically tied to the world tree of Yggdrasil and the web of weird fate. So W-Y-R-D, weird, signifying that our existence and becoming are deeply interconnected with our environment and our past. And the well and the clearing of unconcealment. Heidegger challenges traditional Western notions of truth as mere correctness of assertion or correspondence to truth, and argues for a more primordial understanding of truth as aletheia or unconcealment. So the beginning relates to Ero, where they draw water in clay to sustain Yggdrasil, the world tree. A process symbolizes the ongoing nourishment and manifestation of fate. This location functions as a literal metaphorical clearing, as an open space where being is allowed to show itself. And then you have the acceptance, finally, of finitude. The Norse view of fate emphasizes knowing one's doom, Ragnarok, which also is mentioned in Steins Gate, and meeting it courageously, not necessarily changing it. This resonates with Heidegger's concept of being towards death, where confronting one's own finitude and mortality is essential for an authentic understanding of existence. The Norse, through their judgment, often signifies death, forcing this confrontation with limits of existence. So in Steins Gate, which is very perceptive of the original anime author, creator, is that Akabe has to accept that this is the way things are. He cannot change the fact that Karisu is in a pile of blood and her father is deranged and so on and so forth. But he can change it without totally changing the facticity of that scenario. So he finds a very clever way to sort of trick the fates, but still maintaining the sort of very Norse expression and also Germanic expression of fatedness, right? So he does kind of change the fate a little bit, but it's more of trying to find a way to adhere to what his destiny, his fate actually is. And so I think that's a very powerful way of taking both Norse mythology and a Heideggerian notion of being as situated within the world and always responding to the world, and this continual process of becoming, where being always reveals itself but is never fully revealed, and applying it to an anime with time travel. This is one of the most high IQ. You have to have a very high IQ to understand Steins Gate.
True.
And ironically.
Whoa.
Yeah, it is interesting. I think Steins Gate is, I think, also the most interesting thing to come out of Japan that really is deeply influenced by like Western culture.
Yeah.
And specifically, like you said, there's so many references to Norse mythology, which has kind of come back up in anime and in Japan. Like a lot of media has again done this, where references Norse mythology specifically. And I would love to know where the Japanese affinity for Norse mythology has come from,
or like 17th century Britain.
Yes, in 17th century Britain, especially, but yeah, because like even it was referenced earlier that someone was trying to get you guys to watch Code Geass. That's another show that does a lot of references to Norse mythology. In fact, one of the main plot lines is completely related to something that is called the Ragnarok connection, and is directly a metaphor for the real Ragnarok, without spoiling what the Ragnarok connection is in that show, because it's a major plot point. But yeah, I find the Japanese way of interacting with these themes very interesting too, especially because they're disconnected from the major influences to Western culture that have formed our perceptions and the ways we use this imagery,
right?
Specifically Christianity, also the mere fact that like we're a European population and our cultures are different for the fact that we're European and they're Asian. Because there's even a lot of Christian symbolism in Steins Gate that is very detached from, say if it was made here in the West, it would be a lot more overt and a lot more in your face. Right. The Japanese are a lot more subtle when they do that. And so I that's something I definitely very much appreciate that the show has done. And something that I think a lot of people miss. I think a lot of the main, because Steins Gate is one of those shows where it was never meant to go mainstream, but it did.
Right.
It's very clearly it was crafted for people
with a deep interest in
otaku. A deep interest in philosophy and science, but also just who were members of internet culture before, internet culture was just everybody.
Right. Well, I think also the fact that he chose Heidegger and Norse mythology is very interesting in the sense that it does parallel quite nicely with more of the sort of multiple worlds theory of physics, which is maybe not explicitly Christian. I know a lot of New Agers had this bit about it not vibing with sort of Christian theology, but more so of this Heideggerian overturning of Western philosophy that could fit in nicely with a lot of what theoretical physics is doing. But so I think they do mesh together, but I kind of, now that you mentioned it, I kind of do see a lot of Christian themes as well. I mean, that there is a sacrificial nature where Akabe, he kind of is a Christ-like figure in the sense that he has to sacrifice himself as the perceiver of past and future in a way of what the hell are you doing?
For fuck's sake, man! Can you either mute yourself or? Jeez.
Oh boy.
There we go. I'll fix that problem for us. Go on, Gio.
Oh boy.
Keep talking.
No, I was gonna say Are you fixing your?
What's worse is that I know the layout of his apartment. Come on.
Are you changing an engine block in your apartment?
No, that is the sound of my chair. That is
okay. Even
It is a very loud chair. I did not know you could hear that.
Oh man.
Yep.
It's all right.
You're good.
No, but I was gonna say and Prude, you probably have something to say about this. Akabe, because like Christ, as the perceiver of all reality, past and future, having an ability to know the sort of time, the sort of different world diverging lines, being able to travel through them, he has this ability to give a supreme sacrifice that can end that chain of I know there's a Girardian thing, but that can end that chain of sacrifice by going through it, by literally the only way out is through. And and notice how the wound is very similar on the side to the wound that Pilate. I mean, maybe I'm just schizo posting, but very similar to the wound that Pilate gave to Christ on the cross.
Well, the centurion, but yeah.
Yeah. So I wonder if there is a theme there as well. I mean, of course, at the end, Akabe is reborn into the good timeline, and so preventing World War III, preventing calamity, sacrificing himself for the well-being of others. I know it's a kind of basic thing, but there is also that subtle Christian element as well. I mean, there's other animes where it's much more explicitly, there's a lot of Christian themes, but this one does have that in the background, but does it in a way that isn't overtly metaphysical. The metaphysical is it's kind of there. It's seeping out, but it does have a more of a materialist explanation for how this happens. But there are some things that cannot be explained other than it having a spiritualized or even occultic element. So
yeah, I mean, there's certainly the implication that the show gives that despite there being very rational, material answers as to why things go the way that they do, and this is why Okabe about, I want to say around like episode 12 or maybe 12 or 14, where he really starts to recognize, oh shit, that there are some legitimate consequences to my, like, you know, kind of messing around with just D-mails and changing the timeline. Because all of a sudden now there are these other consequences that I have not considered. And so, and then after he sees Mayuri die for the first time, and we see the first several instances of him trying to make it, you know, to correct the problem, and responding in fact, it's like it doesn't seem to be anything that I can do actually can save her. And it kind of gives the implication that there is some hand of fate, or there is something that is happening that seems to heavily imply that like there are things that are greater than you that you can't control. However, you can easily maybe hand wave that by arguing that like the way in which you interact with the world, and again, very much playing off of Heidegger, like the way in which you confront existence and exist with the facts that you know. And with him, again,
your fate.
Yeah, like knowing your fate. But even then, it's not even just knowing your fate. It's just like you're aware that this is a potentiality of fate. And there's not really a comparable way to it. Like, for instance, like I can drive on the road and I know that like, oh, if I, you know, just decide to say, hey, fuck it, let me go like kill myself by like walking into oncoming traffic. I know that that's a possibility I don't need to like physically experience to know that it would happen. But like, it's something that I'm somewhat aware of.
That's what Sartre said, by the way, where he was walking on the cliffs during a hike. He goes, you know, I could peer down that cliff and I could just, there's nothing preventing me from throwing myself off.
But I mean, there is, I mean, self-preservation and all that.
Oh,
but,
right.
Yeah. But in the same way, like, you know, he's fundamentally become aware of all of these different ways in which, you know, things are going to end or go bad because he has failed countless times. And so I think that in a lot of ways, what makes it really interesting.
It's almost like the butterfly effect as
well. It's deliberately referenced. I mean, the term chaos theory, and of course on like Daru's hand, like you see,
like Ashton Kutcher blew his hand off.
You know.
But I meant the movie though. Like, do you ever watch the movie though?
What movie?
With the butterfly effect? With Ashton
no, I
Kutcher?
have not seen the butterfly effect.
That was whatever happened to Ashton Kutcher. Like, is he doing anything still?
I think he's been doing a lot more in Gio work, explicitly on human trafficking.
There you go.
Butterfly? Wait, remind me, which one is the butterfly effect? Is this the one where it's literally off the short story?
Yeah, his friends,
the time travel going back and doing a hunt.
Yeah,
okay,
like he ends up in prison as like a Wignat, like as a Wood.
No, then I have not seen this movie.
And like he befriends an Asian guy that helps him in prison. Then there's another one where he's disabled and like his love interest helps him. And like it all revolves around like not putting an what's the one very popular, very big an M40 firecracker? Like not putting it in the mailbox and saving that old woman or whatever. It's been many years since I watched.
Yeah, I don't recall
the butterfly effect.
I'm thinking of a completely different movie. I'm thinking of the science fiction short story that got turned into a film.
That's another one. Yeah.
Yeah.
An M80. Thank you. An M80.
An M80 is the popular. Yes.
He ends up blowing his hand off and he goes to prison. And then by the way, in this film, his love interest has this psychotic brother who came back from prison, is like hunting down Ashton Kutcher. And the brother is fucking that one guy from, if you've ever watched the Steve Harvey show, the white kid. What's his name? I think he's dead now. There's a number of characters that were in the Steve Harvey show that have died. But I remember like in my rotation coming home from school and like watching the Steve Harvey show. Bullethead, that was the guy. Yeah, Bullethead from the Steve Harvey show in the Butterfly Effect is Ashton Kutcher's love interest, psychotic ex-con brother, Peckerwood. Anyways, sorry to cut you off, Prude, but yeah.
No, you're fine. I just I was thinking of a totally different movie, so I wasn't sure where you were going with that. Which is
Have you ever watched the Steve Harvey show?
No.
It was actually pretty good. They had like the fat Jewish girl. They had Cedric the Entertainer, who was like his brother-in-law that he hated. Was Bullethead and Donnie Dark? No. James Duvall was in Donnie Darko. That wasn't the same. That wasn't the same character. James Duvall from the Teen Apocalypse trilogy.
Yes, that one. I'm brutally reminded that we did that.
Getting whiplash of like all these millennial references. I'm just sitting here. Just
that's a Gen X reference.
Stunned. Or whatever they are. I don't know. I'm just
Yeah.
a zoomer, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what these things are.
There are times when Gio makes references to things because I didn't grow up with a lot of TV or movies that were of that time. Like I grew up with sword and sandal movies. Like my favorite film is still Ben-Hur. Like I've never, it's not like
I watched a lot of TV slop when I was a kid.
Yeah, I didn't grow up with that. I didn't watch pro wrestling or anything. So I mean, my cultural library to work off of is already super dated. Just Gio makes me feel young and at the same time old.
That's like that one Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episode where there's a time machine that Homer invents and he like goes back to the past, and there's that one line he's like, "Oh, I wish I hadn't stepped on that fish." He like goes back to like the crustacean period.
Yeah, I mean that's
I
think that's either, oh god, isn't that a Heinlein short story?
I believe that is a Heinlein
that's the
short
film
story.
I'm referencing because they made a film off that short story.
I didn't know people actually watched The Simpsons. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I have admitted it on the air and have
millennials.
been grilled for it, but yeah, I have not seen an entire Simpsons episode in full.
I think the only one I ever saw is technically the Simpsons Family Guy crossover.
Oh, that was atrocious. That was.
I think the only
it was
such
something.
an abortion. I
it was
hated
certainly
that
something.
That was. I'm sorry for using that language, like, but it was an abortion. It was terrible. That was like they fucking went to like Toronto, and it was like they were in Toronto for like 5 minutes, and they attended some basketball game. It's like not even a hockey game, which is they totally botched the Canadian episode. They could have went to see a Leafs game because in the series, Homer is on record a fan of hockey. So it was so fucking stupid. Like, I mean, it's just The Simpsons. Just let it die. The characters are starting to die. They're gonna get AI characters. It's over. It's over for The Simpsons.
I think I discovered like another boundary that separates like the Zoomer from the millennial is that like how you feel about The Simpsons is how I feel about Family Guy.
yeah. You know what I discovered on Azuka? Like the only way you could watch Family Guy is if it's a clip show on YouTube. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah. Like individual bits, but whole episodes. Oh my god. It's so much.
As somebody who's watched all of Family Guy,
people hate Family Guy now, apparently.
3 times. Yeah, well, because modern Family Guy is just like nonsensical and not even in like the funny brain rot like way.
Yeah.
It is just like nonsensical like references that are so dated that nobody understands them. Like like the episode that comes to mind is like there's an episode where once again, Brian the dog has sex with Glenn's transgender dad.
Oh,
and they're at the hotel and like room service comes for no reason and says we have snossages, and then they make a reference to the snossages commercial from like I think the 90s or 80s where he comes.
Oh, my old man's working with snossages. Yeah.
And it's like what was the point of this? What
it's to make the viewer feel less old.
Yeah,
I guess. I mean,
that's the only explanation I can come up with.
Are people like older people watching Family Guy? The only people I know in real life who still watch Family Guy are like Gen Zers.
Yeah, I think maybe aging millennials kind of watch Family Guy. You know what that reminds me of? Like Brian having sex with Glenn's trans daughter. That's like this great tweet I saw recently by my good friend Sunwound, the crazy Egyptian filmmaker, at the way Stunholtz on Twitter. The left is not mutilating children. The right is not grooming young men. Becoming a psychotic transsexual Nazi slave is just the natural endpoint of our biological evolution. We are born to be grotesque caricatures without purpose.
I'm not sure how much I agree with that, but that is that
That's
probably
fire.
would have been really funny 6 years ago.
Yeah, true.
Tweets from the pre-Elon era.
I was about to say tweets from 2017 is what that like that is something from like the pre-Charlottesville right-wing Twitter days.
Yeah,
that makes more sense. I would have heard. I don't know.
Truth nuke. Look at the chat,
True.
Oh my
I'm not
God.
sure I can hail that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know it's a pretty bleak. I mean, it's a pretty nihilistic worldview, but I love.
Like at that point, I might as well just go reread Legati. Like I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, true. Anyway, so back to Steins Gate. I had also an anime, like a book on post-structuralist philosophy and otaku culture, a reference. But what do you guys think of what I just spilled out there with the? So, I mean, what did you guys think of the ending, though? I thought it was quite nice.
The ending is one of the best parts. Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, it would. I still can like vaguely remember how I felt like coming from the ending because it was genuinely shocking and it was set up really well. And you know, I think it just generally was like a way for the show to go that wasn't predictable.
Right.
But also didn't feel like it was like cheap and just trying to be like, oh, we subverted your expectations, you know, which is something that's so rare nowadays. It is so rare that I am surprised by a show and or movie or really.
I do feel like that SpongeBob meme where it's like, oh, daring today, aren't we? Because like it seems that there's always this desire to quote unquote subvert my expectations about something, and it's like. When that doesn't happen, it's so genuinely surprising.
Why can't nice people have nice things?
Yeah. Whereas like this has a very rewarding, with much struggle, obviously, but like there is a very rewarding factor to how this comes to end. And it is one of the few, like it's something that I really, and I think I had said this like episodes and episodes ago before we decided to even review it. Like this is one of the better shows that, in terms of writing, but also as a science fiction story where I'm like not relying on technobabble bullshit to explain why this is working. I think there's a lot of TV shows or a lot of film that require you to buy into its premise. And I mean, like Steins Gate obviously requires that, but it doesn't, for instance, right? Like, I think for a lot of people who were maybe watching like, you know, Marvel slop, like, one of the parts of in-game that is really enjoyable is when the Hulk is explaining to Paul Rudd's character that there are multiple timelines, or like you would change your reality and you couldn't go back to the past that you knew in this quote unquote altered future. And Paul Rudd just goes, oh, so like Back to the Future is bullshit. And you know, it's none of these sort of like epic soy moments that we all kind of think about. Instead, it's that. And for as awful as that movie is, that it does kind of play to its rules, which I appreciate. But so does this, and I think it's better than a lot of shows that leave a lot of room for interpretation, or they leave a lot of room for this is how it actually could have been, or it's here's the twist because of the rules that we totally didn't explain very well to you, leaving them very ambiguous. Whereas Steins Gate leaves these rules very clearly defined, that there are, you know, you can make changes, but also that there are second order consequences that are, I think, can be really relatively logically deduced, but at the same time, you have to be very conscious of what you're trying to accomplish. And it's something that, again, the show takes very seriously in the midst of it being a kind of a, you know, what we would call like a cast of quirky characters trying to live out their lives. And it does a very good job, I think, in kind of portraying that, you know, these are young people toying with things that they don't fully understand. And that, you know, even trying to understand the rules of this world becomes such an important part of overcoming the fact that they figured something out that CERN hasn't, and that will be used against them, which is really something to appreciate for the show overall.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but why does CERN? Well, I was gonna say like, That's like Christopher Nolan films. They always insist upon themselves. But
So true.
why does CERN, the organization as Makabe calls it, is it just that they want to control time travel, or they've designated themselves like the New World Order, or is it just like a blanket like nefarious conspiracy, or is it that like the Rounders and CERN that they have an obligation to control the time travel ability, or is it just that they'd want to submerge the world in the future into like a Skynet dystopian hellhole? Like what's
I thought it was
CERN
pretty
motivation?
clear to me that like there was definitely a desire for some kind of global governance / control.
Structure.
It's
The
expanded
globalism
upon
is implied, you know.
One of the
We're fighting
time
we're breaking the
stop
conditioning. We're fighting the globalists. Team humanity. Like, yeah. Anyways, yeah.
Like you need to send a banana through your microwave in order to stop the globalists. Like
True,
it's,
true.
Yeah. The
So
globalists
true.
don't want you to
that
know
is
it.
expanded upon a lot in Zero.
Oh, it is?
Stuff with
Well,
Zero. Yeah,
now I'm gonna have to go watch Zero.
that's so like most of what goes on in Zero is related to CERN and other organizations that like want time travel. We even get to see like the future that Suzuha comes from, and
Yeah, there was only,
it seems
like,
to be
brief
very much that
glimpse.
they're like kind of these like transhumanists, transhumanist world order that like wants control of time travel because that's like the easiest way to enact this like global state.
This is like the perfect Alex Jones anime.
It is.
It is. It's peak like mid 2000s.
A bunch of forum posters stop the New World Order. I couldn't think of a better Alex Jones shit post.
Peak 2000s anti New World Order, like techno libertarian, like sci-fi adventure. It's like exactly, Prude. Like a bunch of forum posters save us from the New World Order. Like it's incredible. Like it's got everything. It's like, see, I'm so nostalgic because like I grew up in this time. I was a teenager in this time. Like I loved like listening to Alex Jones, and like I remember when they went to Bilderberg and like the libertarian, the Ron Paul thing was going on. Then Occupy Wall Street. Like it's like, man,
I was
that's like
radicalized by Ron Paul. Like I come from that time.
Yeah, like it was when you could like freely have like a good versus evil narrative in metapolitics. And it wasn't like nowadays. Like we all felt like we were part of a moment. And we were like getting together and we're fighting the globalists for team humanity. And it's like nowadays that's all gone because we hate each other so much. And we rightfully so. Rightfully so.
Yeah.
But, I think like that type of mid 2000s millennial like anti-globalism moment was amazing. It was like
it was the branch away from the sort of Occupy moral high ground of like we are the masses that have been screwed over, that we want revolution and we're going to do something about it. And I mean, obviously the right wing response to that and the Tea Party, etc. Like, well, there were guys that wanted to save the world, and we knew how to save the world, and it wasn't being taken in by these like so-called progressives or globalists. Like, actually, the transhumanist doesn't want to save you. And it's like these would be, and it's funny too because like I can identify the exact kind of person that would buy into this, where it's I knew left wingers and right wingers. I mean, they were definitely different back then, but like both. These guys would have totally different opinions on, say, like immigration or whatever. But then they would be like, yeah, have you ever read this book called like Toxic Sludge is Good for You? And it would be, just talking about PR and the way in which like, they want to like control you through the media and the press. And it's like, yeah, and you guys have come to two radically different conclusions about that. And it's just really, it's just a different part of the world that we don't have anymore, which makes this like a very weird nostalgic show to go back to. Yeah. For you and I, totally different reasons, but it is true that like, it's very good sci-fi, but also at the same time, it's touching on a point that so often we kind of miss out on, which is that we were told that this was the way that the world was going to be, and turns out it's the furthest thing from that.
Yeah.
And because of that, you're kind of left being kind of disappointed or numbed out in a lot of ways in which Akabe is throughout the later part of the show. Like, he's so driven by a mission, but he becomes so incredibly cynical about, you know, the likelihood of success until he's presented with the choice that he makes at the end, which is like, this seems to be the only way through / out. And in a way, it's like, of course, very self-sacrificing, and so in a way very Christ-like, but also at the same time, it's this sort of great reset, not in the sort of like the political progressive great reset, but in the, we now have an opportunity to correct the world in which we had no idea that it could be corruptible in. And I think that that's something that really we don't get to talk about so much in a lot of media these days, because I think that one big trend of media has been to take away agency from the protagonist, in the sense that, yeah, like terrible things can happen, but like at the end of the day, sorry, Chud, like you don't have a choice in the matter, like you lose. And that's the way that the world works, is because there are forces greater than you that you cannot overcome. Whereas in Steins Gate, like, yeah, there are far more powerful forces than you, but at the same time, those forces are actually capable of being beaten, which is something that I don't think too often you get to see in a lot of anime, or really in a lot of popular television anyways, in a way that isn't explicitly progressive, which is something I really do appreciate. Like, it's kind of funny that we're reviewing this in the midst of, like, I guess, like, Stranger Things is still going on, which I think is kind of wild, because like even that show, for instance, is taking advantage of a nostalgic cultural zeitgeist, which is like 80s, but also the parapolitics of the 80s with like the Cold War, and like, you know, also are doing things against the NKVD and tapping into things that we don't really have a lot of power over.
Oh, so they have to, like, Stranger Things has to demonize both the Russians and Ronnie Reagan?
Well, but also, like, what I mean is like the first 2 seasons of the show, for instance, play into a very different kind of understanding of the world, whereas then, of course, everything has to become very, very paused. And I mean, like, even the show, it has a very kind of paused premise wrapped in Gen X nostalgia. But
what is the premise
of the show?
I've never watched it because I thought that kid looked too ugly. I don't know. The little gremlin kid they got?
I mean, there's a lot of gremlin kids.
The one with that, his front teeth.
Yeah, the gremlin. Yeah, he kind of looks like Gizmo. He
does kind of look like.
He kind of does. Well, I mean, like the first season is, well, really, the first one is just basically like a girl escapes from a lab who's basically a psyker, and you know, meets a bunch of kids that are her age, and you have to deal with the fact that there's a lab and a government shit. And it's like, okay, so 80s parapolitics, and it's like, cool, fine, this is interesting. MK Ultra remote viewing stuff, and it's like, all right, cool, I can work with that. But then at the same time, you're also yeah, you have a diverse cast of that. All this lesbian gay shit eventually comes into the show. And it's just like, so for whatever good that there was, it's like, well, it's not obviously not there anymore.
This is like worse. This sounds worse than Euphoria.
Sounds worse. Yeah, because it involves children.
No, but like Euphoria involves children like doing drugs and having sex. But like,
this is like they're like in middle school.
Yeah, like this is preview.
They're like sixth graders or something.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's not like even high schoolers.
No,
I mean all these actresses are probably like 30 years old though.
But oh yeah, I mean like
sure.
Yeah, I know for a fact that the psycher girl is of age now, but
Hollywood probably gives them hormones to look younger.
Probably. I mean, she still looks really young. I saw a picture of her recently because Facebook loves to like give me all the like pop culture slop things in my feed.
Oh man.
So like, and like apparently like she had a feud with David Harbour where like she said David Harbour was like bullying her or something.
Oh my god.
And she looked still really young, just like now with like breasts.
Oh god, that's
and she's like a 20-year-old woman now.
That's just like 30-year-old, like 25, 30-year-olds pretending to be like middle schoolers is like ugh. But anyways, no, but yeah, like that's what I mean. Like it's not You can't. I want you all to send Prude super chats. Tell us a little story about who or what radicalized you. Send super chats right now. What radicalized you? Who radicalized you? And but Sex Freakman says sure, but you have to remember it was all a farce in regard to like the unifying moment of anti-globalism in the mid 2000s.
Oh yeah,
it was a farce. It was, yeah, it was a definite.
If it wasn't a farce, Sex Freakman, I sure as hell wouldn't be the cynical, jaded piece of shit I am now. Like I'd be much more of an optimistic, we're gonna make it kind of bloomer character. But I'm a black pilled chud. Like it's fine.
And also,
I know my place.
But also, I think what Sex Freakman means is that like the political targets were sort of off. Like you couldn't have that type of moment again unless something very dramatic.
But also keep in mind, like let's also be very realistic. The politicking of that era was also extremely white, and anyone who says otherwise is lying to you.
Oh, you mean Occupy Wall Street and
Occupy Wall Street and the Tea Party, like yeah, there was obviously like brown,
there was third world
non-whites there, but like the moment was explicitly like if you could say there was a racial archetype to it, it was like just incredibly white, which doesn't exist anymore. Like you can't go back to a moment where there was still this kind of understanding of civility and politics that fundamentally just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I think Trumpism like really destroyed that moment too in a lot of ways.
Well,
for good and for bad, for good and for bad.
Not even just Trumpism, but like I would also argue that a good chunk of it has a lot more to do with the fact that in the same way with like Barack Obama, like I think a lot of progressives got truly burnt out by the fact that like, oh, it turns out like
he is just a neoliberal.
Yeah, well, he's just part of the system. Like, Gitmo stayed open, the banks still got bailed out. We passed even more stimulus, and we did all these other things to ensure that the world as we know it went in a completely different direction. And I think, for instance, it was weird, almost like, dare I say, clear pilling is someone who was like very much more of a, you could call me like, I guess like I wouldn't even use that term to describe me back then, but like someone whose foreign politics were very Ron Polish. And it's like, I think everyone kind of had a moment where they realized, just like George W. Bush, Barack Obama is like really no better than the guy he replaced. Not to mention all the drone warfare and extra. Like it's weird to go back to those things and sound like they matter,
right?
And I mean, in a lot of ways, they still kind of do. But it's just it's a point in time that you kind of can't go back to in the same way that this almost feels like a period piece of online culture where it's just like, well, it's a pre-smartphone era. Your social media was forums and that kind of posting, and it wasn't anything else. And instead, that was the way in which you saw the world, was by who you communicated with these strangers online. And of course, even the show itself references the very deliberate forum culture that, this is all completely anonymous, and you're only able to trust the information that's presented to you rather than
your personality or the
or your fandom or username or whatever, things that don't really exist outside of a few forums that even then that's not really a thing anymore, because even though we're anonymized, right, like we don't function in a completely like you're known by the strength of your like information that you post or the take that you have, versus nowadays it's like, oh well, he said this and he's part of XYZ camp, and there we go, I have to like disavow him and all that he stands for.
Right.
That didn't exist here. So I like, it's a period piece. It's a time capsule of forum culture and being online that fundamentally doesn't exist anymore. But also, we don't ever, there's not a lot of time travel stories anymore. The last one that immediately comes to mind, I think, is
Stranger Things.
Well, no, it's not a time travel show. It's just
it's just placed in the 80s.
It's just placed in the 80s. It's just in the 80s. That's it. But I think the most recent show I can think of is it would be a video game. It's out of a Polish studio, I think, like Kronos or whatever.
Chrono Trigger?
No, that came out like 30 plus years ago. That's an RPG.
Yeah.
No, it's called Chronos, and it's got a time loop story. But I mean, outside of that, a lot of time travel stuff doesn't exist. Because I think in a lot of ways we've just
Everywhere, everything, everywhere, all at soy. That's
Isn't
all.
that most multiverse? Isn't that
It's
that
just a
movie's more multiverse than anything. It's
than
not really
explicit time travel.
Yeah.
Oh, there was that. Yeah, Looper was good. There was a great one with Jared Leto.
I actually didn't mind. I think Looper is Ryan Johnson's only good movie.
Yeah.
There, I said it.
There was that one with Jared Leto where it goes to the past and the future, and like he chooses different doors to represent different timelines. One of them is like he achieves the love of his life, but he's a homeless bum. Another one's in the future with this guy that has these tribal tattoos all over his face. What's that? What's it called?
I have no idea.
It was a very like it had no ending. It was a very like avant-garde movie, which I think that's why Jared Leto
said yes to it.
Said yes to it. Yeah. Let me look this up. It was a great movie. By the way, his band 30 Seconds to Mars, it's like I could never get into them. They're always like, ugh. He was in Fight Club. Jared Leto was in Fight Club.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I can't even remember who he is in Fight Club. I mean,
I hope he died in it.
Was it Mr. Nobody or was it
I think that is the movie you're talking about. I don't
yes, it was Mr. Nobody. In the future there's no more humans. There's only like these kind of like that tweet from Sunwound. There's only like these like freakish mutant creatures that inhabit the earth in the cyberpunk future.
You live in one
Mr.
now.
Nobody. Yeah, we live in one now. Like it's kind of like I always
feel like it's
Peter
important to
Hewson
remind
painting.
people you do live in a cyberpunk dystopia.
Yeah, like everyone looks like a Peter Hewson.
It's just
painting.
like the worst one, though.
Yeah.
Well, this is why I like Cyberpunk 2077 is that at least CD Projekt Red had the ability to like look at America and be like, "Yep, this is the kind of hellhole it would be in, where it's got like automatic firearm advertisements, but it's obviously like a mixed race family." It's like, oh, they know Con so well.
Yeah,
they could be like the GTA like ads, like ammunition. Those are always great. I probably will do I will watch a playthrough of GTA 6, even though I know it's going to be terrible. But
that's the worst thing about like wanting like more content from your series. Like jumping all the way back to when we talked about Half-Life, because I was talking about with somebody who says like even if Half-Life 3 came out, like even if they announced Half-Life 3, there's like a really good chance it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
And that we're going to be extremely disappointed by it if they make it at all.
That's what I feel about this GTA one, and people are going to be disappointed.
Yeah, people are going to be incredibly disappointed, and it's because we just like live in a very like terrible era for media. There are gems that come out, but usually it's like new stuff. It's not related to older stuff. Like the best
that's like when Axl Rose waited for 20 years to release Chinese Democracy. And then everyone hated it. It was like, yeah, this is stupid. Yeah.
If Half-Life 3, if they announce Half-Life 3 and it comes out everyone will hate it. Everyone will hate it because it will not be what people want, no matter what. And Valve has explicitly said that like that's the reason like they haven't been working on it. That's not a thing they're working on, is because they know the expectation. And they were saying this like 10 years ago. It's even more so now.
Yeah.
And you just have to think about too, like nobody who worked on Half-Life 2 like works at Valve in the same capacity. They either straight up just don't work at Valve anymore, or they work in such a different capacity that they probably wouldn't be working on the game anyways. It's going to be completely different people. And yeah, it's just, oh man.
Yeah, so that's something I think that people are kind of considering too. And also it's like, how Half-Life Alyx ends, wherein like playing off of HL episode 2, it's just like, well, Freeman is technically resisting the G-Man in part because of the Vortigaunts, but then it's also suddenly like Alyx is going to be the main protagonist. Like they've kind of made that very explicitly clear that like it'll probably be her that will be the continuation of the storyline. And it's like, okay, so you have a very terrible risk of a beloved franchise of a silent white male protagonist that everybody loves being effectively sidelined or literally silenced, not just because he's a silent protag, but in a way that prevents him from being central to the story that he's been a part of. And it's just like, so I'm actually okay with him not, I'm okay with this not happening. As much as I would love to see a finale to it, because it's been like 18 years of a cliffhanger ending, but I'm also aware that like at this point in time in the current media environment, if there was ever a story that they could fuck up and really do some lasting brand damage, I really do think it would be Half-Life, and I think they're somewhat aware of that to the extent that like maybe we don't want to do this because if we
be careful for what you wish for.
Like maybe we don't want to fuck this up because if we do, like it's
and Valve continually repeats this is that like there's just literally no way for them to do a Half-Life 3 at this point. They just can't do it.
They don't have the technology. They don't know.
Oh no! It's not that they don't have the technology. It's that Valve has always used Half-Life as a technological, innovation tool in the same way that like id Software has used a lot of their IPs to show off tech. So I mean, Half-Life Alyx, for example, was a very great technical example that you can do quality virtual reality games that aren't just like fun, kind of like light gun shoot 'em up games. Like, I think that there is some technical and narrative complexity that can be done in VR. But at the same time, right, you also have to consider that, it's a short game compared to, Half-Life's episodes or even Half-Life 1 or 2. And then at the same time, like, it's very limiting of what kind of person can afford it, And, like, you're asking someone to drop hundreds of dollars, if not thousands, on a VR headset that can only really run on expensive rigs. And so it's just like, okay, so you're asking for something that's very limited to the market. And so if you're waiting for, technical innovation to really help guide you forward, well, then you're up shit creek to begin with anyway, because like, especially right now, because like RAM is so damn expensive. And then also like, what are you gonna, be the technical leader of? Like AI? Like, what are we working on here? And even then with how AI is right now,
your audience to spend hundreds of dollars on a fucking franchise. That's bullshit.
Well, you're also asking, but also here's the thing, like Half-Life 2 came out in 2004. The last episode came out in 2007. Yes, Half-Life Alyx came out in 2018. So you're asking a franchise where potentially most of the people who want it to happen are all old. Sure, they have money, but like that doesn't bring you a new market. That doesn't bring you a new demo. Like that's
most people have moved on. Like they've moved on. It's kind of like how like it was so weird that we got a Tron movie this year. It was like what the
Who's
hell are
asking
we doing?
for that?
That's the perfect question.
Know.
Who wants a Tron film? I
think Tron guy almost died of a heart attack.
But like,
it was like, who is this for? Mm-hmm. I mean, this is the question about like the whole stuck culture thing too. Is it's just like I don't know who wanted a Tron film or who wanted a
Running Man remake.
Yeah, like what are we doing?
That's like if System of a Down came out with a new album. Like it's like those guys can't do it anymore. Mm-hmm. Like Serge Tankian cannot sing like he did in the early 2000s.
I think even worse is like if you had like one of the boy bands from the 80s or 90s do songs now, like
worse,
like NSYNC, like have NSYNC come back. It's like yeah. All the moms, like Gen X moms are gonna come.
Well, wasn't that a movie that came out a while ago where it was like a mom like fell in love with like the lead singer of a boy band or whatever? Like that he took her daughter to, and it's just like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
we have no story that seemingly wants to bring anyone like there. You can't have also the cultural phenomenon that you had back then. Like I think that's the important thing to consider out of all of this is like there is no there is no moment like that anymore, because who are you appealing to? And I think that's the big deal out of all of this, is like with any sort of media, is like, all right, well, we're gonna do a film about this, and it's just like, oh, that's really cool, but how are you going to do it when most of the writers aren't like, they're not white, and they're not making quality films, and they're making progressive slop. Like this is slop world. Like we're not
one
leaving
bullshit after
soon.
another.
Yeah. Like Paul Thomas Anderson literally just made a Weather Underground movie, and what am I supposed to do with that? Like, who the hell is this for?
Yeah,
and his movie before that was just like the most, fucking. I actually surprised I've never seen Nightmare Vision talk about it, because it's just like female ebophilia, the movie. And
which Paul Thomas Anderson film?
Licorice Pizza.
Oh, that one. I heard about it. I never watched it. But
It's a film, that's for sure. It is a movie.
What's it about?
It is about this high school kid who's like 16, 17, who like wants to be like a movie director, and he like falls in love with Elena Haim's character, who's just like this like stoner Jewish girl, and I think the movie takes place late 70s, early 80s. And like, and then
to quote Stavros, respect.
and like she ends up requiting his love at the time where he realizes like, oh, maybe I should be like dating girls like my own age or like around my age, rather than like this like stoner 27-year-old woman. And she starts pursuing him. It's quite a movie, and it really it really shows that like Paul Thomas Anderson is like the rest of us, and wishes like his like high school teacher like molested him or something.
That was like that one tweet by the French guy.
Didn't Kate Mara do a movie where she plays the teacher who molests a student?
Oh, there's that one film called Teacher about that.
I think that's the one she's in.
Yeah.
No, it was a mini series. It's a mini series that she does, because there is a film that is about that, but I think they did a mini series sort of explicating everything that took place. I think it's like in a small Texas town or something like that, and they both try and move on with their life, and it's very interesting because it's one of the few pieces of media I've seen where like it expresses sort of the male perspective on what that looks like. Like, how traumatized would you actually be while everyone's kind of cheering you on?
What film is this called?
It's a mini series. I'd have to go look it up. I mean, it's like several episodes long of one run. I don't know. I think it's with Kate Mara. Chat, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't really pay too much attention to female to female. I want to fuck teenage boys movies, but like I just remember that.
Clearly not a true Nightmare Vision fan.
I'm really not like I'm not really that big into like female ebophilia movies. I got other things to worry about, man.
They're fascinating though, where it's like an older woman, a younger man. There was this one Nordic film about that from like the early 90s that was pretty good, where like he was fucking his I think it was his piano teacher's wife or something. There was a great one, and there was also this one called The Maid, where this like I think he's like a little bit older than a teenager, he's like 18 years old, and like his father marries a much younger woman, but like older than him, and he has to impregnate her. It was called The Maid, I think. Yeah.
It's very clear, Prude, that you did not have a crush on a teacher when you were younger. To take Gio's role in telling an embarrassing childhood story, and so people can fill out the bingo cards.
Lay it on us.
When I was in 7th grade, I had a crazy crush on my. It was called Gateway to Technology class in middle school. And it was like a pseudo engineering class, and I had like a crazy crush on her, so bad. Like I was like always going to her class to talk to her.
You were like rooted
Pokemon a lot, so we would talk about Pokemon a lot. Yeah. And like literally for her birthday, I went and bought her like X and Y had just come out. I went and bought her a copy of I think Y. for her birthday. And I was like I had like fascinations about like that I would like have sex with my teacher because I bought her Pokemon Y.
I don't think there's anything wrong with
there's nothing
you
wrong
saying
with
this
that.
or admitting this. I think that's the most natural, normal thing you could express at
It
that
is,
age.
man. It is.
Well,
yeah.
it proves that like I am like in fact a straight male because I had
You
like,
you were a sensitive young man.
I was a sensitive
You
young
wanted
man.
a dummy
you know.
mommy. Yeah.
Well, and I think
I wouldn't
you
go
know
that
now that I
far.
think about it, that probably influenced the reason why like every girlfriend I've had since that moment.
Oh, you've actually had girlfriends?
Yeah, I mean, you met one of them still goes to the church we go to. So
Yeah,
What
it's awkward all the time.
Why'd you
But,
break it off though? What happened?
well, I think I've said enough embarrassing stuff.
No.
so-
Yeah, I think there's been
What
enough
happened?
stories
Why
shared.
did you end up marrying her if she goes to your church? What?
Anyways, next, moving on.
This is like this is like dragging embarrassing stories out of Micah Paul.
Honestly,
that
I'm kind
psychotic
of worried that
Latina
she
girlfriend that,
still
like-
watches the show.
I don't think she does. I think we're
'cause
okay.
She used to watch the show, and she
No,
would
but, like,
message
what
me. It's like,
happened?
"Did you just watch DA and what Prude and Gio said on DA?" And I said, "Oh, you're actually watching it? I don't usually watch it."
Son of a bitch.
But
You have to
what
understand, like when
She
we.
sounds like the perfect woman. How'd you fumble this?
Oh my god! I
I
didn't think that you would be coming on the show to get mogged by Gio of all people. This may be the greatest.
Hey man, I had a childhood one-nitis.
I don't
and
think
she's
you
dating
understand that.
a
Like,
guy
I
that's
get to go
Norwood
see this
5.
man this Sunday, and he's gonna just give me
Oh,
the
I won't be
fucking
there
death
that Sunday.
stare.
You're lucky. You're lucky.
Oh,
I'll
I
be
am
in-
lucky.
I'll be
That's
in
even better.
Corpus Christi.
I get to
No,
live
but
in-
what happened though?
I get
Like,
to
did
live
it just
another
not
day.
work out? Or?
Can we not?
It
Gio?
basically didn't work out. That's yeah.
Yeah, it's the best explanation you're gonna get.
You cheated
But,
on her? She cheated on you, or what happened?
No. Definitely not. Definitely not.
We're gonna
She
carry on.
discovered your
What-
anime pile.
No, in fact, I got her into a bunch of anime. I saw someone in the chat earlier say something about like rejecting a girl at church who likes because she likes Attack on Titan. I was like, I got my ex into Attack on Titan. Like she loved Attack on Titan. It's like her favorite show now.
Oh my god, there's at least, look at Pac-Man Respector, there's at least one girl in here, so one of you fellas wife up one of the great bets in the DH. There's a few women that watch us.
We have a surprising number of women that watch the show,
Yeah.
which always throws me for a whirl.
Hey,
And then I look at
ladies,
my
check pinned tweet.
Because my analytics are kind of wild because it's closer to it skews more female than I thought, and by that I mean it's 95-5, and it used to not be that way.
I have a 10 to 15% female viewership.
Wow.
Yeah. It's all the painting videos.
You should be able to find you have a woman, so you don't have to.
Yeah,
worry about
I don't have
anything
to.
now.
I don't have to look anymore.
You don't have to look anymore.
But
That's
see, I
always good.
could, but she
You
found me,
you know
though.
your rebound is in your comment section.
I have an
so
image to put on the jumbotron since we're talking about the women in the chat.
you have something on the jumbotron you want to share?
Yeah,
I don't have her.
All
Like,
right,
I
go
think-
share screen and we can make that happen.
No, I already put it in the.
Oh yeah, I
I-
see. There we go.
Yeah,
Add to
there you
save.
go. There you go. So yeah.
There you go.
There you go. Put the first one you shared to us.
I'm not putting that on screen.
Father Misakyle.
We're not putting the rabbi on screen.
Why not? I think that'd be a great idea.
We're not putting the
he's
rabbi
right. He's
on
right.
screen.
No, I'm an optics cuck, so I know that. I understand.
Yeah, I'm
It's
an
okay,
optics
it's okay.
guy. I
You can
can't
go
put
to
a
my
rabbi
Twitter, go to
on screen.
media,
I can
and
put
just
a
look for the
spurious
video.
anime reference. on
You've
screen.
seen the clip. If you follow Malarian on Twitter, or Million on Twitter, you know the clip. I mean, he's shared it so many times.
I use that. I use those clips like
Yeah, it's
probably
great.
every week.
This is
I'm
how
still
I know
curious
I'm
how you
not
broke up with this
on-
church
on-
girl, though. I'm still curious.
This is why I know I'm not online enough.
you can maybe in the
After the show,
the,
you'll tell us.
the behind the stage, the viewers
Yeah,
don't get to know.
In the green room,
Yeah, in the green room, maybe you can get some answers.
yeah.
Overall, though, I would recommend this anime. I would recommend Steins Gate if you want if you're willing to look past, like, if, for instance, if the characters being kind of like pervy shit posters, if you can look past the obvious references to your inner self, because if you're watching the show, you already know who you are. Let's not kid yourself. You'll probably be able to look past the awkward mirror image that you might see. And then after that, like, don't you worry, and you too can experience what I think is a pretty good TV series. I haven't seen Steins Gate Zero. I probably will now that we've had this discussion on my own time. I'm not going to review it for the show. I've got a lot of other stuff I need to review that I've been paid to take care of, so that's on my list. But
did you actually get paid to watch
Yeah.
Code Geass? Okay.
Yeah, no, thank God, no.
Oh, no. What do you mean, thank God, no? It's such a great series, though.
Listen, I don't like I don't have a television in my apartment, and I don't really watch all that much TV. And so I still need to finish my King of the Hill review. I still need to finish a paid review for Ace Combat. And it's just like, it seems like every time that we get paid to do something on this show, it's to review an anime.
Did we get the money for this, by the way, or no?
I did, yes. I kind of brought you along. I will send you some money, Gio, to make sure that you did it. But like,
you'll watch 300 episodes.
But I also know that, like, if you counter signal anime on the timeline, like, you're gonna get doxxed and killed. So I just don't.
You will,
so,
and rightfully so, honestly.
And so I don't counter signal. I'm just
you're gonna
saying,
you're gonna watch 200 episodes. You're gonna read the book, read the visual novel.
I thought about reading the visual novel. I'm not gonna lie, or even doing it on Steam, because like I could. That would be a fun thing to stream and put that on the paywall.
But yes, chatters, you need to pay Prude to watch Code Geass so you can see how I destroy the world to make my little sister happy.
Code Geass.
He needs to watch Code Geass. I like, unironically though, like, if I was to recommend anime to someone who is like right wing, Code Geass would be towards the top of the list. Just because its themes are very decidedly right wing, and yeah, I mean, there's a reason why Cal Crucis, a favorite poster, constantly posts
one of the greats.
References.
One of the greats, even though theologically I may disagree with him, but he is truly one of the great posters of all time. What about Cal Crucis? He loves Code Geass?
Yes, yeah, no, he's me and him, when we've made many Code Geass references to each other and interacting on the timeline.
So before we get to supers, let me read you this excerpt from this book called it's called Anime's Knowledge Culture, and it's about different franchises and the nature of technology and multiplicity that mentions. So this one chapter in it's called Cybernetic Play. What is it called? Multimedia franchises. So the author mentions, I think it's a compilation of different authors, popular franchise Science Adventure, which has produced a growing number of games, light novels, anime, manga, films. So then mentions Steins Gate, gamic realism, game mechanisms with interloping loops, proliferation world. So here we go. Science Adventure is marked by the game's mechanism with interlaid loops, proliferating world lines, and perpetually branching scenarios that serve to tighten or connect a vast collection of characters, images, and text into an ever-growing database across diverse media platforms and forums. And in Steins Gate, time travel and Times Gate are merely narrative devices that function to generate more branching points, more plot lines, more alternate endings, more world lines, so that informational complex of transmedia databases, as well as the user's psychological complex to navigate the database, would expand almost indefinitely. The Steins Gate series within the Science Adventure franchise is one of the most popular and illuminating cases of an ever-expanding database that is organized by games and gaming mechanisms. And Steins Gate comprises an intricate narrative that follows the emotional, intellectual journeys of a group of young characters centered around the self-proclaimed mad scientist Akabe Rintaro, and his research partner and love interest Makisa Kitasu, who discovers and utilizes the technology of time travel to change the past and future to save each other's lives, combining a compelling science fiction fantasy with pungent teenage romance, as well as a stunning visualization of Tokyo's vibrant otaku scenes in Akihabara. This multimedia series heavily relies on the narrative motif of time travel. Let me skip ahead. The Steins Gate game evokes a strong sense of gaming because the narrative setting of time travel affords the game-like logic of loops and resets. Following this gamic logic, the TV anime series Steins Gate, which aired in Japan in 2011, featured disjunctive editing, non-linear narrativization, and a wealth of textual and graphic signs and intertextual references that complicate these narratives and to disorientate the viewers. Its visual style of cantered angles, distorted perspective, and off-balance composition also created cognitive puzzles resembling gaming. The narrative and visual complexities in the anime echoes the narrative work database structure of the whole transmedia series. Although the anime series does not have as many alternate endings as the games, it does dramatize the protagonist's repetitive efforts to change the past, present, and future through time travel. A scenario of endless loops of trial and error that mirrors both the plot setting of the series in particular and the cultured logic of gaming in general. The repetitive cycles of time travel are further multiplied through numerous games, novels, manga, anime, and videos, and films in the series. So let me skip ahead. Steins Gate series lists the chronological order, analyzing how the world lines arrived at through time travel, and charts this complex diagram and interrelations among these world lines to facilitate and encourage fans' database complex of getting all the world lines correct. The publisher of the series also released an official document indexing all the world lines with a divergent matrix, adding another commodity to be consumed in the media mix series. I didn't know that they actually had like a world line map. As such, the transmedia system of Steins Gate series is not only a database complex in both infrastructural and psychological senses, but also a meta model about that complex. It exhibits the structural and experimental logic of a database by relentlessly multiplying world lines, as well as by attracting users and fans to be devoted to maintaining and expanding the multiplicity of the database itself. Both are achieved through a game-like setting of time travel, technological determined rather by associates with postmodern condition. According to Azuma, with a decline of the grand narrative and postmodernity, the tree model of what Iji Atsuka calls narrative consumption, whereby the consumption of small narratives leads to access to the grand narrative, has been replaced by a double-layered structure of the database model, where the consumption of small narratives on the outer surface layer only leads to the deeper inner layers of the informational database. That is the grand non-narrative. This distributive structure of database consumption is organized and sustained by the moe elements and characters, with moe referenced to certain types of character features that generate affective feelings. In an effective and somewhat reductive manner, Azuma charts this modern to postmodern rupture by associating narrative with modern continuity, singularity, and unification, while aligning the database with postmodern dispersal, multiplicity, and fragmentation. The structural logic of database consumption is only intensified with the shift of focus towards games in mixed media, a media mix, but because the gamic tendency accelerates the production of postmodern fragmentation with the proliferation of loops and world lines. While the game-centric database system of Steins Gate may seem to be testify to Azuma's thesis on postmodern dispersal with expansive networks of proliferation, world lines, it nevertheless complicates the schema of multiplicity by pointing to an opposite direction, the desire for unity and singularity. That is the tendency towards the true ending. Despite the endless proliferation of alternate timelines, the Steins Gate series is evidently and centered anchored with one, the only true ending, also known as the R world line in the series, in which the protagonist not only saves his supposed true love while preventing a future war, but also avoids collateral damage to other characters, a mission that is supposed to be impossible in the series' surface level layers setting. To borrow Zuma's two-layer model, whereby saving the lives of one character by changing the timeline always involves causing the death of another. The routine to seemingly impossible true end, however, lies in the middle, between several timelines before the convergence point, which is extremely narrow and forever elusive pathway dubbed the Steins Gate, or Open the Steins Gate. It's funny because in Dragon Pro Wrestling, they have the title called Open the Dragon Gate. Dragon Gate Pro Wrestling. So I thought that was like an interesting parallel there. Open the Steins Gate. Yeah. So I think that is like Steins Gate almost like returns you back to like modernist fiction in a way. Like there is like a fragmentation, there is like postmodern fragmentation, but there is still like the one true meta narrative that he's trying to achieve, and it's about like saving one's love and like facing one's duty. So it's a very interesting take on like, you know, I guess Lane could fall into this as well, but
to some extent, yeah.
Yeah, but Dragon Gate Pro Wrestling, they have the title called Open the Dragon Gate. And so I don't know, it's like a popular theme in Japan, I take it. Open the Steins Gate.
I guess I wouldn't know.
Anyways.
Well, I think that's a good time to get to the super chats, and we can carry on from here. Steins Gate is a stealth Dr. Pepper ad. I totally agree.
True.
That's very true. I opened a Dr. Pepper beforehand, but I'm also a Dr. Pepper fan to begin with. I'll keep drinking that garbage. It's okay.
I haven't had Dr. Pepper in a long time.
I am a Dr. Pepper fan, especially in a glass with ice. I'm a big Dr. Pepper fan.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, we'll carry on from here, and we'll start with the super chats. If you would like to, as always, the Digital Archipelago is funded by viewers like you. So your ongoing financial support to Gio and I, if you were to scan on your phone or use the lovely little QR code there, subscribestar.com/Prudentialist, is the best way to support me and all the stuff that I do. I have 4 different videos scheduled for the next 4 weeks. So you're in for a very good time, because I don't want to be live during the holidays. I'm going to be live on the 22nd for the last episode of Do You Even Read for the year, which is covering Jeremy Carl's book, The Unprotected Class. But it'll be a good time.
Jeremy Carl wrote that article responding to the Savage article in Compact.
Yes, he did. And I'm gonna
white guys and DEI. Yeah,
I'm gonna do a private read and react kind of deal for patrons as well this weekend. Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm gonna. I have a lot of things scheduled. I have something that'll come out this Thursday for you all. I think you're really going to enjoy. But I'm going to start with the super chat. So the very beginning,
probably come out with a DA. I'll see if I can record a content minded another solo episode. I haven't done a solo episode in a while, so
it's been a hot minute.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll start off here. Guisas Chatterack, he had gifted. I have YouTube channel memberships. He just sent 10 to random people. So thank you very much.
Let's get some memberships.
And there's our references. Ziria or Kyle right now, he says, "Damn, this year flew by fast." That is true. 2025 did really. Trump's been president for less than a year. Isn't that wild to think about? Felix Fairmount, he says, I know, less than a year. I've made so many memes during the election cycle. It was a lot of fun. I had one of the Chud doing voting, and it was with one final effort from Halo 3. I had a lot of fun. I wish I could be like a slot poster. I feel like I'd be very good at it.
500 memberships.
I wish. Yeah, quality content, my friends. LOL. Well, we try.
I think you said that when we were talking about Jim Cornette and forcing wrestlers to sleep with his wife. Allegedly.
That's what I call quality.
Can you imagine Batista having to do the job in the? Never mind.
No, Gio, I don't think about other people having sex.
I fucking hate Batista.
I don't. Anyway. I refuse to think of you at all as a sexual being for the purposes of my psychosecurity.
Oh my God.
And I say that with love and Christian charity. He gifted another 10 memberships. Thank you very much, sir. I greatly appreciate it. Wingman renews his membership for 3 months. He says, "Review Whitewashing America, or I bubble bath my cat." There's a lot of books I need to review or read.
What's that about?
I don't know. Whitewashing America?
Yeah.
Is this the this is the book that Wingman had paid money for to talk about on Dyer. I told thank you, because I was trying to remember. I didn't want to listen to myself for 2 or 3 episodes ago, Wingman. So I told Dimes that, hey, I got paid money to review a book, and thank you for reminding me. And he's like, "Which book?" And I'm like, "Well, fuck, I gotta go remember which one it was." So I now have it. I'm going to order, and by order, I mean I'm just going to find a paperback or a PDF of it so I can send it to Dimes. And then, eventually in 2026, we'll cover the book. So don't you worry. Material culture and race in the antebellum imagination. That'll be
Oh wow.
I might just bring Sandy on for that one. That'll be fun. Carrying on, 10 neck. He just sends $5 and says, "Merry Christmas." Well, Merry Christmas to
Merry
you,
Christmas.
and a
Merry
blessed
Christmas.
feast of the Nativity. Let's see. No, I'm not Grim from Red Hood. He says Steins gripe. So true.
That's a good one.
True.
So true. Wingman says, "Sorry about the noise. He didn't like the bubbles." Well, don't.
I went back and listened to that after I saw someone say, "Why is this chair made of chips?" And I have no idea what that noise was. Because I don't have a bag of chips or anything around. Like I have nothing. Like I have no idea what that noise was or what could possibly have made that. That was certainly something.
If you say so.
Oh my god.
It's fun being that guy for an episode.
Let's get some membership.
All right, we'll go back to a frog.
All right,
there we go.
Show the Christmas frog.
I do have a Christmas frog. Hold on. Edit avatar. There I am in my
There
Santa
you
hat. Carrying on. Wingman again. Sorry, but yeah, we just did that one. No, I'm not Grim from Red Hood. He says, "Don't tell them about Occult 9." Yeah, that's that's a angle I don't want to go down. No, I'm not Grim from Red Hood again. Says, "I still think about the Gigalong House Ultra Favela."
Oh, that was an Julius tweet. Yeah, that was an Ange tweet. Yeah.
Oh man, speaking of Julius, I think I've got one in here. Yeah, my orange Julius Evola. Where is it? Edit avatar. Edit avatar. Evola. There we go.
That was like I had that one tweet a long time ago. Like a snack bar would be like called the Rene Guinan. Rene Gui. Stupid.
Yeah, I mean you could create a porn studio with the Rene Guinan, but yeah. Moving on to the next one.
That was like that one part in Santa's sleigh, like the dirty pastor going to the strip club, and and Bill Goldberg playing Santa just kills everybody, and like he was like naming the strippers that died. One of them was called like Hugh Cox or something like that. It was funny. Have you ever watched Santa's sleigh?
No, I have not.
It's on YouTube. It's great. It's just the whole premise is Bill Goldberg is the evil Krampus Santa. And he goes around killing people. That's it.
That's not totally a canard or coded for anything. Yeah, I'll carry on. Machiavelli Sucks to Go says, "I love towers," and then says a certain letter of the alphabet that I'm not going to put on screen, but thank you so much for $4.99. No, I'm not Grim from Red Hood. Again, he says, a 10,000-year Baltic style CERN slop dystopia. That is certainly what I think. Maybe I'm going to have to go find out what kind of.
That's in reference to Francis C. Drake, because the Slavoidic people created the global computer god, communist computer god.
That's true.
True.
Frankenstein machine.
Yep.
Even piercing the skulls of pure white-blooded males.
Pure white pedigree males.
Yeah, white pedigree males. Wingman again says, "Alex Jones, the only shocking name on the E-list." Is he on the list?
No. Wingman said he wasn't on the list, but I think maybe he's confusing it with Steve Bannon. So Steve Bannon definitely was like he had selfies.
Yeah, those photos don't look good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that reminded me of a polemic I came up with, like when Trump was getting a lot of flack for the Epstein list. I was like, you know what? At this point, he should just make like a fake one and be like, oh my God, every single registered Democrat in the country is on the Epstein list. This is crazy.
He gets cash.
The thing about all of that kind of blew my mind was like, if they knew, like, because Epstein died in Trump's first administration, like, you think that any of those Biden staffers would have released all possible damning stuff on Trump and Epstein?
Fuck with it.
Like I would like honestly like why bother doing all this gay retarded like lawfare to put Trump in jail? Just be like Biden on day one should have been like, oh, did you know that this guy was
yeah
like
here's a video of Trump having sex with a 15-year-old girl. Look at this. Look.
It's all to distract you from Hunter Biden's cock.
Just like, a little taste of her flash. We knew that this one she's not going home. Some of the boys erupted her because she wasn't going. They had to ban AI voice.
11 Labs had to like do a hard stop on certain political figures to do that.
Yeah.
Now they just let you do it with other tools. It's kind of wild.
Just a little taste.
Elon was like, "You like AI slop? You're gonna see it every fucking day."
I totally misheard you and thought you said Lover's Lab.
No,
I was like, "What the heck? What do you mean, Lover's Lab doing AI voices of politicians? What does the Skyrim sex mod community have to do with this?"
You know, it says a lot that I didn't know that Lover's Lab was a Skyrim sex mod, and you do.
Was it that like they didn't release it during Biden's term because there was too many Democrats on it as well?
Everyone who is important is probably on that list, and
so I think like Trump, like a lot of people,
not like it's not even so much that the list itself is the issue. It's just that clear, at least in my understanding, or at least my conception of it all, is that like Epstein probably had ties to foreign intelligence along with our own intelligence community that would have been trafficking and laundering money for the benefit of foreign governments as well as the American government. That never looks good when your hot button, spicy, topic of compromat gets public attention.
Well, that's what I mean. Like Trump's people, like Pam Bondi.
Oh, she
shut the fuck up about it.
I mean, Susie Wiles was right with the New York Times interview. She's like, yeah, she fucked up the Epstein thing. Like
if you knew like it was so damning, like just it was the most like retarded. Like we're going to give red meat for the base without knowing that like key Republicans are also including Trump are probably on the list, and it's like, what are you doing? Like from a pure, like I'm not like, it's not a moral argument. I mean like from a purely Machiavellian politicking sense, it was like, to quote Trump from his first term, it was like one big fat mistake on like the part of Kash Patel and Pam Bondi and Dan Bongino.
It certainly did not help that they did not do anything good with like the whole
with actually releasing
with the influencer thing. That did not help in any way, shape, or form. But I'm gonna carry on here with the super chats. Otherwise, we'll be here all night talking about that. So Wingman says Alex Jones. Oh no, we just did that one. No, I'm not Grim from Red Hood. He says Vivian James, put specifically Angry Joe coming on the side of Anita. Oh, because you told people to talk about what radicalized them.
Yeah, what radicalized you? Yeah, Steve super chats. What radicalized?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Vivian James.
Yeah, I mean that's one way to do it. Vulpus Persona, who was also gifted a sub from our friends earlier this evening, he had said the Critical Drinker was my gateway. I think that or an I Hypocrite video on the grooming gangs. I was actually we're gonna go put up the video Gio and I later, because we were on Timeline Earth's 12 days of Birdmas, and we spent like the first 45 minutes of the show talking about what radicalized us. So I have that scheduled to come out at the end of the year on the 31st. Machiavelli Sucks to Go says Black Pill make me aware of certain questions and focusing on creative family dynasties. So there you go for $4.99.
There you go.
He says, I had to start learning about troons while I was on deployment. Thanks, Obama. Yeah, I'd imagine being in the military during the Obama administration. Is
that when they got rid of Don't Ask, Don't Tell?
Yeah, I think so. When did
I think Obama was like a red pilling moment for a lot of people.
Yeah,
especially millennials.
Yeah, it ended in 2011. It literally ended when he signed the repeal into law in December of 2010. Yeah, thanks, Obama. That's
Onizuka's right. Like Obama was a red pilling moment for millennials. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree wholeheartedly. He certainly was. Oh boy. Speaking of other, well, I'll bring that up later. Okay, carrying on with the YouTube super chat. Sorry, we're going a lot. Randall Shirker says Gio, Waco, OKC, our initial radicalization for me. Was a former National Endowments for the Arts head bitching in emails about how they weren't deciding what was and wasn't true for the pledge. If you ever find yourself in Oklahoma City, they will ask you to leave if you start asking questions. The park ranger will tell you to leave. Don't ask me how I know.
Whoa.
Seasider says, if you had to own, oh geez, I'm gonna kill you. If you had to own one anime body pillow, who would it be? Anyone real, not real, living, or dead?
Makise Kurisu. That's my answer.
Could it be like a
I've
real
totally
person?
never, ever looked at how much one of those body pillows costs. Totally never done that.
What are they called? Dakimakuras or whatever?
Yeah, Dakimakuru.
Yeah, okay. That's more revealing on your end. If you want me to give you an answer there, Seasider, I will be very I'll be soy jack for this one. I'll just simply say like Solaire from Dark Souls 1. Because I do like someone who's just delightfully incandescent. Gio or
Stay horny.
I'm an optics cuck. On a
I don't know. I can't think of one. Like if it means anybody, like any living or dead person, it's too
I
much.
already know who that's gonna be.
I can't think of one.
Whatever. You're an Anna guy. I know the answer to that.
Oh, Anna Kachan? Yeah,
yeah.
maybe. No,
Oh, what the?
Anna Kachan body pillow.
There we go. He said it. Clip it.
I kind of
No,
threw
I
up
don't
in my
know, like,
mouth
what's the-
just now.
Oh my god.
Day of the Pillow Man for $5 says Millie Bobby Brown is actually very attractive. They just put her in really baggy sweatshirts and sweatpants to hide her legs.
Oh, I know she's very attractive.
Yeah, I don't think that I don't think she's unattractive.
Yeah.
Quisax Chatterak again, he gives another 10 memberships. It's very kind of him. That's so all of you people who are just getting randomly gifted subs, you're going to see all the stuff that I have scheduled for the next several weeks because I do the channel membership to public option for YouTube, and all the gaming streams I've done over the last several years are behind the paywall. No, I'm not Grim from Red Hood. Says Onizuka follows KT Weiichi on X. I bet real.
Who? I'm looking at this right now.
Who is KT?
Who is this girl? Oh, I know who this is.
I'm terrified to go look it up.
No, this is just like some like loser. I think she's like in her late 20s, early 30s. Like loser neat woman who like does cosplays.
Not even.
Yeah, Wood is the answer. Wood.
Oh, who is the
Definitely
fat one
Wood.
that did the chubby one that did cosplays?
I think this is her.
Is that the one with like the cowgirl?
Yes.
Oh, that one. Yeah, I remember she became.
You
like,
can wrangle her all day long, Gio. It's up to you.
Yeah, Wood.
Yes, she's a Wood.
Sex Freakman gives an.
It's probably crazy though.
Thank you. I'm griping myself to this right now.
Oh.
You're asking yourself uncomfortable questions about our alliances in the Middle East.
We didn't even talk about the New York Young Republicans. You were starting to talk about.
It's fine. I can avoid.
Did they not know? Did they not have any like quality control person like going on your lolcows thread or like?
I feel like if you're gonna host a major event, because like the New York Young Republicans convention is considered somewhat prestigious in MAGA world.
Right.
I would want to have a lolcow list with like photos attached to not bring. That's just me. But I don't live in New York, and I'm glad that I don't. No, I'm not Grim from Red Hood. He says, fun fact, the Giga Longhouse tweet is in my Twitter bio. Well, there you go. That's awesome. Sex Freakman became a channel member. Well, thank you, Sex Freakman. Your ongoing appreciation is always wanted and appreciated. No, I'm not Grim from Red Hood. Wow, you've been very generous this evening. Thank you very much. He says, I also had a Tumblr phase where I got booted out by TurboLib friends and then discovered Sargon of Akkad. Devin Stack then gave me Western sympathies. That'll do it. As I've said before, there was a time when I was in college where I would listen to Sargon of Akkad, This Week in Stupid, and other YouTubers that were not yet banned off the internet, and then Rush Limbaugh on the EIB network, and then NPR's All Things Considered when I got off work to go to my night classes in college.
Man, I was in
real
school
old
the first
head
time I
Kohler.
heard Sargon of Akkad.
Old head Kohler reference right here.
I'm full of old head Kohler references. I've got a lot of them. Did we get tagged in something for music or art? I'm now checking my notifications. No, I'm not seeing anything. Okay,
Do we have more super chats?
Oh, we do. I haven't even gotten to the. I have not even touched the entropy ones.
Entropy.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then Sean Schaefer says Shill Oz's anime fan art on stream. I can if you can send me a link or at me on Twitter or whatever, then I can do that. Although I do like the Freyrin art commission someone shared in my Telegram chat of Freyrin in a certain mid-century uniform. I can't be really opposed to that. Okay, so
what's a stupid Freyrin thing where some like viral?
Now that's an anime I will take money to review.
No, but like, what's this like stupid
So-
media literacy thing where she's like punching a Klansman or whatever?
Wait, what?
There's like a viral tweet. It may have been fan art. It may have been in
It's fan art. Trust me.
I thought you were gonna reference to like the black girl who like cosplayed Freyrin that had everybody like go.
Brittany Venti.
No. No, there was like an actual like straight up just black. You know, it was,
like not like Brittany Venti.
not like Brittany Venti, not someone who's mixed.
Like
race.
an actual foundational Black American.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like cosplayed Freyrin, and everybody got very upset about it. And then like to own the chuds, a bunch of artists made like blackwash versions of Freyrin, and then Severus Chud has been doing his duty on Twitter.
Is Casca black?
Is Casca from Berserk?
From Berserk.
I don't think she's black. No, I think she's just tan. Like
Yeah,
Oh,
she's
okay.
she's
That-
given
that's
a
the-
darker complexion, but she's not what I would. She's not depicted as African.
Because that's a very popular one for the race swapping for like Westoid otakus that are woke tards.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
'cause
weird.
She isn't. I mean, like, she's not depicted as white. I mean, she
Yeah.
has features that. I mean, it's literally just brown skin.
But the thing is, like, too, like, a lot of people don't realize that you can kind of spot, like, who's, like, an anime tourist is by, like, when they call, like, certain brown-skinned anime girls as, like, being black. It's like, no, like, I don't know if you knew this, but there are brown-skinned Japanese people. They're called Okinawans.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's just they like, don't think of it as, like, depicting as somebody of a different race. They're just like, oh yeah, they're a tan Japanese people. And so Casca, though, I think
Like, there are
is a little
swarthy
more like
Britons. Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like there's not a lot of anime that is explicitly depicting Africans or black.
Usually when it is, they complain that it's like
Very bigoted.
very bigoted. Like I haven't seen people say the black guy in Black Lagoon is a very bigoted depiction.
Like,
which is
there's an
hilarious
entire
to me.
blaxploitation episode in Cowboy Bebop that, like, I think is very tastefully done, but also, like, that would be how you would see blacks depicted.
The Japanese, their cultural reference is like black guys from the 70s with afros. Like in the Tiger Mask anime, there was an American black wrestler, and he looked exactly like some like funk star, some like funk musician. It was crazy.
Yeah, I don't think these people realize that, like, most Japanese people go their whole life without ever meeting or seeing a black person, like, ever.
No, some of them, like, there's a lot of black wrestlers who have gotten over in America, in Japan, like
Mhm.
like Bob Sapp,
What a scary novelty.
Shelton Benjamin, he was very popular in Japan. Who else am I thinking of? Like Bobo Brazil was very popular in Japan back in the 70s. But yeah, you're right. Like, in terms of daily
super
life.
chat did I just read that was gonna set this? It doesn't matter.
Anyways,
Well, I'm gonna carry on before we get carried away here. So, all right, the first one comes from our good friend Charlie Mackey. He says, "Good evening. I hope you three are well. Please consider this fund of $25 the start of a fund to sponsor a comprehensive review of all seasons, movies, and spin-offs of My Little Pony. Alternatively, please gargle iron filings or something, I guess. I think I will just swallow lead, Charlie, but thank you very much."
$25.
Teal Bucks Deschardin, what a great username. Oh, you have my.
I think that's Sex Freakman, by the way.
I think it is Sex Freakman.
Steel Bucks to Shari. That's such
I
a
love
great
it.
name.
I love it.
Yeah.
He says, it occurs to me that maybe these stories appeal to young Western men partly because no matter how weird the Japanese interpretation of European mythologies and philosophies is, although it is probably unconscious, there is an effort to seriously contend with them.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think in a lot of ways, for instance, Elden Ring, the latest from Software, like, I really do think that in a lot of ways it is an attempt for I think Miyazaki, as well as with a lot of Japanese staff, to, like, kind of contend with what Western Christian, like, cosmology when it comes to, like, Christianity and the sense of like hypostatic unions and things like that, and also what does it mean to be more than one thing, in order to have 2 in 1 or 3 in 1 kind of stuff there, and also to deal with cosmic dualism. I think there's a lot there that you can. I think that you're right. They do try to seriously contend with what has been or what gets discussed in the West. It's also because they take such great inspiration from it. Like, I mean, like it is very much Japanese a product, but like the entire Soul series is still very much a world where its architecture and its setting, at least in terms of its inspiration, come from a very explicit European influence, right? Like you're still a knight in shining armor. You're still dealing with like churches and religion, and it is something that is uniquely different in comparison to, what you might see in other parts of the world.
Yeah, I mean, I think too, it's just also like the way that a lot of Westerners feel about Japan is a two-way street, where Japan has a similar like cultural fascination with the West and America and Britain specifically. Because like even the existence of the isekai genre and its prevalence in Japan is directly coming from the fact that Japan really likes Alice in Wonderland, which really could be considered the first real isekai story, and that's a Western story. So yeah, Japan feels a lot like they're Japanese weeaboos about the West, and that bleeds into a lot of their media. And ironically, I think that's why so many Westerners have connected with anime, is because it's like here are people actually who have a respect for Western culture, having their own take on it in their media.
Yeah. I didn't know they loved Alice in Wonderland so much.
Oh yeah, a good friend of mine, who's a Badapunny on Twitter, did a really great panel at an anime convention about the prevalence of Alice in Wonderland in Japanese culture and media.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I've met him. Nice guy.
Yeah,
smart guy. But well, carrying on to the next super chat here. Tealbucks Desjardins has quite a few, so I'll carry on with them here. One of the things also I think in this discussion that he carries on with, and he says the following quote. Regarding my farce comment, I meant fundamentally we're so aware of many reasons why such unification would be ridiculous, that humanitarian strain of utopianism was planted in us and then preyed upon, and that is partly what radicalized me. This is our discussion from the Occupy Wall Street stuff. Yeah, I mean, there is a humanitarian, like we're all in this together kind of mentality that just doesn't really exist anymore. Or I mean, we're kind of aware of it, but also like it is so fundamentally been a destructive, because it's like that sort of Western universalism has been preyed upon and it's been taken advantage of. In the same way, I think we talked about it a couple episodes ago, where it's like, how many people do you know who have been preyed upon by like the name or guise of like the free trade or GDP or capitalism, only to be taken advantage of by like ethnic nepotism and cartels where they won't hire you because you're white. Like we see this in the tech sector all the time.
Yeah. But I think like I could see how that attitude basically worked against a lot of people as well. Or like this sort of apolitical, like alt normie, like Joe Rogan American, where it's like, they're trying to prevent us from getting together, man. It's like, it's sort of like a political ignorance of like what's actually happening in a lot of cases nowadays. But I think at the time it felt fresh and new. It felt like a return to a meta narrative that a lot of diverse people could graft onto. And we felt like we were fighting true evil, but we still are. But it's like, we realize that the evil a lot of times is in ourselves as well, in terms of like different political factions. But yeah.
And it's also like the things that I think so many people take for granted now, whether it's like,
also Alex Jones was never willing to name like who the globalists
well, I was about to say, like, I mean, like, I think even if you didn't want to, like, there are certain just K lines that were not ever going to get crossed
Yeah.
sort of like polite conversation by most people. And it's like, well, yeah, like back then it was totally easier to like talk about, oh, the big banks or the corporations or whatever. And it's like, well, the scapegoat or the political actors that be like, it's a lot easier
It was
to
the bloodlines, the ancient bloodlines, the Bilderberg Group, the Trilateral Commission.
like if you check the Ashkick records, like you can clearly tell that these are like the 5 families that like are the source of all of life's problems. And it's like, okay, fine. Like that's, I mean, we can have that discussion. I don't think it's the most.
I think the
fruitful
families
one.
are real though. That's
no, I think that is true, but it's also like there's so many other. I think it's also because things have gotten so much worse that it's just like it's very hard to discuss these things in a perhaps more serious fashion because it's just like, well, those things are probably true to some extent, but also like half of the cities in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex look like third world shitholes. So like
plus Alex Jones is like platform people that are essentially replacing him in terms of relevance. There's one big name I could think of, like in terms of like what's popular with Zoomers.
Do you mean Nick?
I mean Nick Fuentes, yeah.
Yeah, like I mean
Alex Jones platforming like Nick Fuentes is like a disaster in terms of Alex Jones's like cultural relevance. I hate to say it. Cause like
I think he's out. Well, I don't know if he's outlived his relevance, but
Alex Jones is an American archetype that I think will live on for a long time.
Yeah, like
I think he's outlived his ability to make money off of his relevance. Like he's kind of like he's a figure that people will constantly ask themselves, whatever happened to that guy, even though he's like still making content right now.
Well, he even said this when I think a lot of people were dooming on the first Trump administration. You almost have that sense, I think, now, especially if they get crushed in the midterms. He even said, he's like, yeah, Trumpism basically ruined my brand because like he can't be like an apolitical, like unifying conspiracy theory person. Like he basically is just a right winger, but a right winger that has to contend with people who are actually on the right, who are like way more right to him, to that, which I mean Nick Fuentes and other people, other big influencers.
Well, I'm sure most of us would have opinions that are far more to the right than he does. And
but I think what he meant is like his fate was essentially tied to the success of Trump's ability to fight the globalists.
Well, yeah, and also not to mention that, like I think that for him it also became, it's the same thing with a lot of political TV or infotainment. It was just like it stopped. You functionally can't be a
Janny for a regime while pretending you're still.
Well, you can't be political entertainment in the age of Trump. Like,
exactly.
You can't, because like look at every TV show that tried to do that. None of them survived. They're all irrelevant.
Well, like other people within the same milieu, like that were willing to shift more to the right, but not in the way that Alex Jones did. Guys like David Icke. Like David Icke is experiencing like another mini renaissance, like he was in the mid 2000s, because like I think he was willing to like bash Trump like early on, and he was willing to like maintain a position for like for lack of a better term, like a more global quote unquote audience. And so I think like, whereas Alex Jones, he actually felt at one point that putting his brand next to the name of Trumpism was like a serious miscalculation. Now he wouldn't say that nowadays, because like other people that have broken off from him, like Owen Schroyer, have like done these like A-logging wars against him. But I think like there's other people, like even people older than him, like David Icke, who have maintained like more of a relevance because they're willing to go places and they're willing to be more fluid and malleable than like a lot of, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, but you were going to say Prude.
No, I just like with TV shows like Veep or House of Cards, like the Trump era of being in office for the last, like, or being just the political guy for the last 10 years has so fundamentally broken, I think, a lot of people's ability to just stay, like, no one cares about TV when, you know, functionally speaking, like the real world is way more entertaining. Like, what do you do with that?
That's one good thing about Trumpism, is that he like destroyed like Aaron Sorkin's America.
Yes,
And
Yeah.
thank
that-
God for
Forever.
it.
that's like
Thank
one of the
God.
best things he's done is like the death of Sorkin and his legacy. Because
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I am so glad that I don't hear people talk about the West Wing anymore. Like, because I hate that show.
Because, like, let's face it, if Jed Bartlett was a real politician, he would have been primaried by the Democrats for being too right wing.
Yeah.
And
It's sort of like how Nixon was about to destroy Norman Lear's America, but then he got impeached, and so it didn't happen.
Yeah, he got
Or-
Yeah.
couped. Like, it is
Yeah.
tragic.
He was like Nixon was on the verge of basically ruining Norman Lear's legacy until they had to coup him. So it's like nothing news under the sun, except
Yes.
now it's Trump and Sorkin. Yeah.
Nixon was en route, I think, in a lot of ways to fundamentally reshape the country
Yeah.
for the good.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's why they had to cut him down. Carrying on with the super chats, because this has been longer than a 3-hour show. Teal Bucks to Chardin says, specifically, I think Jordan Peterson radicalized me unwillingly. He blew up when I finished high school and I was mid-conversion. And his approach to pragmatism, X works for society, ergo it's true, felt vaguely like a betrayal. And I think it somehow made the idea of ideology as a social technology click for me.
Oh yeah.
That's definitely true. I would
Oh
agree.
yeah.
with
I was
that.
in the university when that happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. Pac-Man Respecter, he says,
Like, first of all, I'm sorry, Prude, but promoting another stream with a super chat, I gotta admit, that's fucking brilliant.
Did I
Thank
see
you,
that
Mike.
right now?
Yeah, Mike, that's brilliant.
he paid $20 though. So
He
Son
paid
of a
20.
bitch.
He paid $20 for
He
me to
paid
not
his
read his super
advertising
chat.
fee. He
He paid $20 for me to not read his super chat.
oh
What? That's what you get, bitch. You stupid fuck. Sorry. Don't be a retard. I love you, Mike. I'll go read it on stream. But you whore. Carrying on.
I
So
should do that with AA or somebody bigger than me.
I should start doing that with Oren McIntyre. Just to be an asshole.
Oh,
Go super chat on Mad at the Internet.
I don't know why. Like Oren doesn't
I should
want me
tell.
on, like,
Yeah, I should tell Matt at the internet. I should tell Josh.
I think
he should come on
Oren-
the show with a super chat.
I think a lot of his boomer audience
carrying
would like
on.
me.
Shut up, so we can finish this damn show.
Sorry.
Fuck. Pac-Man Respecter says a tenor for making me laugh a lot this evening. Well, thank you for straining my voice, Pac-Man Respecter. I appreciate it. Teal Bucks to Chardin says, hold on, Mr. Hassler is back. And this time he recommends 2 books, 48 Laws of a Bad Bitch and On the Essence of Legal Consciousness. I would read 48 Laws on being a bad bitch.
Oh, that's
Oh my
That
God.
sounds like a Quan Mills book. On the Essence of Legal Consciousness is an Ivan Ilin book that I would highly recommend because I do own it. Is Micah Paul still on the air? I should go read that. Does Oren even do live streams anymore? Yeah, it's just Oren's been busy in Washington. Let Gio cook. No, I want to end the show. I got to take someone to work in a little bit.
We're busy in Washington.
Yeah, he's. I saw him. I William Wolf tweeted a picture of him saying he was in DC, so I was curious for what. But anyways, we'll carry on here. I think it's the last of the entropy super chats. Let me refresh real quick, and then I'll go read Micah Polls. Also, it's a Tuesday night. They usually don't do drive time movie nights on Tuesdays. Micah
No, it's about
Paulson's,
next one. Yeah, there you go.
a very generous $20. He says, look at these 3 dudes, 3 great dudes with a great stream, just like Drive Time Movie Night featuring Oren McIntyre. Oh, it's going to be tomorrow. So he's shilling
Yeah.
for the show tomorrow.
I'm
So
gonna tune in. I'm gonna make deranged comments
Cap
in the
and
chat.
Mike host a show called Drive Time Movie Night. I've been on. Gio's been on. It's a fun one. We watch a movie. We live react to it. It's a good time. So yeah, they're gonna have Oren McIntyre on next week or tomorrow. So tomorrow at I think like 6 p.m. Eastern. Go watch it. It'll be a
Gio, do
great
you
time.
even do solo live streams and stream of conscious talks? I mean, content minded for a long time was that, but like I used to do solo streams before Digital Archipelago, but like I feel I need a co-host because I hate dead air and I feel like I'm intimidated. But if you want me to like do solo streams again,
Oh,
I
there we
would be
go.
up
Oh,
to
wait, we
it.
shilled this last week, Oz, but you paid for it. So I'll put that on screen shortly. Am I earning my messages?
What
tabs
Mike?
open?
What movie are you gonna watch with Oren?
Yeah, he told me. I don't remember. We'll carry. Yeah. Oh, how much for the Freyrin? I will pay eventually. The usual fee, $100. I will happily review Freyrin and Onizuka, and I will happily cover that for you.
How many seasons is it?
there's only one right now. But
There's only
a
one. I
trailer
think
for
the second
season
season's
2.
about to come out.
Yeah.
There was a great Catholic priest YouTube channel was covering Freyrin, which I really enjoyed. I think it's like YouTube channel is called Pixel Padre. And he was talking about like Freyrin's concept of heaven and how it's convenient in comparison to like the Christian concept of heaven. It's very good. I would recommend his
Nice.
channel if you're a Catholic or if you just want a Christian overall kind of understanding of the world with respect to anime. And then here's the anime art on screen. Thank you, Sean Schaefer. So this is what he is. We put this on the air last week. We will do it again because we love Sean Schaefer and we love all the stuff that he does for us. I have all of my little frog PFPs from him. So like for instance, this one. So share screen. There we go. Taking a break from Angel Advent 2025 to remind Giant Gio and Mr. Prudentialist, I am their top weeb. Yeah, this is apparently DA-chan, which
DA-chan Christmas.
Yeah, DA-chan Christmas with the both of us. So we are frogs. There you go. It's on screen.
There you go.
Are there any more super chats? I think we're good. 48 Laws of a Bad Bitch. Is that a real book or are we just like memeing on 48 Laws of Power?
No, this is real. This is by
Oh my God, it is real. 48 Laws of a Bad Bitch by Blue Jasmine. Get ready to step into your full power and unleash the ultimate bad bitch energy with the 48 Laws of a Bad Bitch. This isn't your typical self-help book, darling. No sugar-coated advice or empty affirmations here. We're talking real talk, straight to the point with no holds barred. And this manifesto, you will find essential truths, powerful mindsets that will make you the unapologetic queen of your life. 48 Laws of a Bad Bitch is also purchased with the Sigma Male Bible.
I'm going to buy that for my girlfriend.
I think I want to go buy. I think I would read that for the sole purpose of doing it for April Fools. Like, do you even read? That'd be a lot of fun. Let me refresh Entropy, and then I think we're going to call it a night here. I think that's it. All right, so YouTube, one last run around, and nope, we're good. Well, all right, Gio, what do you have going on?
Well, I have a painting video today. I talk about the purpose of plein air and localism, and that I might be painting things that might not exist soon. And then I'll probably have a content minded. Also, last week I had the content minded with Paul Talk, and that was really great. So, all my usual links are there, and I don't know when we're gonna have DA for after Christmas or before Christmas.
Maybe before Christmas. To be perfectly honest, I kind of want to take the next 2 weeks off for live streaming. In part because I am traveling for New Year's.
Right.
And I'm going to be in the Carolinas.
Okay.
And so we'll see. Because everything else I have for the month of December is all scheduled out. I have I was on James Kirkpatrick's Identity Politics TV show and or his podcast. And so I have our 2-hour discussion that comes out this Thursday. And then I was recently on with Granite Mountain and his podcast reviewing the movie Heat, which I only got because of our episode of the Digital Archipelago talking about that movie. Yeah. So a lot going on there. That'll come out sometime this week or sometime next week. And then I've got quite a few other pre-scripted or scripted stuff that'll come out. So a lot more is in the works, so to speak. But and then the last live show I've got that is scheduled is Do You Even Read with Dimes, and that's just covering The Unprotected Class, how anti-white racism is tearing America apart by Jeremy Carl. And that's on the 22nd. And after that, everything I've got is scheduled. I've got I'll probably put some of the Bird Mist stuff up. And then after that, it's just going to be some paid reviews in January. And then we'll probably resume after the new year. It depends. I really don't want to. I can't do the 23rd because I'm having dinner with my parents because it's my birthday and it's your birthday, Gio. If you want to do a birthday stream, be my guest. I will be with family and my fiance having dinner. So, Mr. Onizuka Gem here. Do you have anything that you would like to promote or share with the class about yourself?
Not a thing.
Not even your great Twitter account.
I mean, you can follow me on Twitter if you want. I just use it to shitpost mostly and post things that I can't say to people at law school. So
nice.
Well, there you go. I did not put your Twitter @ in the description. I will change that now.
You can do it, but it's also
I do want people to
undermined.
follow you. You have so many great gems. You say all the things that I like on Twitter that I can't say as an optics cock.
Well, that's the nice thing about like no longer being like a guy tied to a persona where that's tied to my like real life is you just get to say whatever you want being anon.
I really should just make an alt and start being myself. I like to think that I do a good job kind of just being my usual self when I'm playing the frog, but there are days where I'm like, it would be really nice to speak my mind on some of this
sometimes I wish
Twitter drama bullshit that I hate with a passion.
Yeah, me too.
Because I really I don't like the game so much. If I'm being honest with you, it's not fun.
I like the way things are going, to be honest.
You like where things are going?
I know. I say I hate it where.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? Yeah. Did something happen that I was like that got you in a really good mood?
I think a lot of people are making a lot of strategic mistakes, unforced errors. Anyways,
I think a lot of. I mean, I wish that Twitter was still good. And by that I mean I wish that group chat still worked. I wished that the algorithm...
I wish it wasn't deboosted. No, none of my followers.
I hate the fact that apparently the way to succeed now to get seen by the people that matter is to be on private, which really sucks.
Yep.
So it's a little frustrating to say the least. But nevertheless, we will probably hash it out behind the scenes to figure out when we're going to go live. But thank you so much. This was a lot of fun. I hope our buddy Mr. A, who sponsored this review, makes it all work and enjoyed this. I'm sure I'll get a message via Substack later on that issue. But yeah, thank you, Mr. Onizuka Groiper, for coming on. Thank you. I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. All right, we'll see you all next time. Bye, gents.
God bless. Goodbye. Too sweet.
See ya.